Across the river and there's a woman I know. Sometimes I go there and I knock on her door. I said, baby, 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 let's waste some time. If you ain't got nothing better to do, let's waste some time. Every so often there's a girl's night out. In the wee hours she comes calling all right, saying, baby, 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 let's waste some time. So if you ain't got nothing better to do, let's waste some time.
That's not the way, BG. You'll bring a whole military machine down on our heads.
Extraordinary actor.
Phenomenal performance.
Frank Silvera. Very few ever knew he was black. If you enjoy watching movies and television, I'm sure you recognize this man's face, a phenomenal and extremely versatile actor. This man played every role you can imagine. He appeared in some of Hollywood's biggest films. He guest starred in television's most greatest shows. He was a highly successful black actor in the 50s and the 60s who, because of his light-skinned appearance, transcended race and ethnicity in his performances. Frank Silvera was cast in Latin parts, Native American. He played mostly white roles, and every now and then he would play what he really was, black, and no one ever knew the difference. A little-known fact is that Silvera was the first black man to kiss a white woman in a major Hollywood film, Stanley Kubrick's The Killer's Kiss in 1955.
And Peter Gordon. I'm recording tonight, but tell us a bit of film to be. This one's the fight for the proof is last chin of the playmaker from Turner stuff.
In fact, no other black actor during the 50s and 60s worked more than him in television and film, not even Sidney Poitier. Today, you might compare his body of work to the likes of Sam Jackson. Frank began his career on stage with the Harlem American Negro Theater and with the Actors Studio, studying alongside Marlon Brando and Steve McQueen. He would eventually become the founder of theater companies of his own, including the Theater of Being and the Harlem-based Frank Silvera's Workshop, co-founded with a young Morgan Freeman. It's time to recognize one of the most versatile black actors to ever take the stage and screen. Black History Mini-Doc salutes the great Frank Silvera.
Hello and welcome to the Frank Silvera Writers Workshop's new play reading series. We're thrilled to partner with the Billie Holiday Theater to bring you this series. Right after today's reading, we invite you to participate in a moderated critique session. This is a unique opportunity to share your immediate thoughts and feedback directly with the playwright. And now, without further ado, enjoy the show.
Yazoo, Mississippi, a full-length farce by Jean Chiampi. Setting: the city offices of Yazoo, Mississippi. Time is the present. Synopsis: Yazoo, Mississippi is an actual town located on the Yazoo River. Its name comes from a Choctaw Indian word meaning river of death. Now, this is a fact. No one can make that up. It's begging to be a comedy. Alex Halderson arrives in the middle of Newt Yazula, the annual festival celebrating the local winged newts. He's there to build relationships between his company and the local community, but the relationships he discovers are not the ones he expects. Family lies, broken ties, and why won't those Yazoo, Hoozoo, Yazoo winged newts fly? Act 1, Scene 1. The offices of Mayor Harley Tibbetts in Yazoo, Mississippi. A large door enters from the street to the main reception area. Miss Jo enters from the street whistling and singing. She makes up her own songs and the tunes. She's wearing a Yazoo River winged newt costume and carrying a frosted carrot cake.
Everyone will stand and clap just because they hear that flap of those Yazoo, Hoozoo. Yazoo, Yazoo, River winged newts. Come on now, come on down. They're not shy, but they won't fly. The whole Yazoo, Hoozoo. Yazoo, River winged newts. Do 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 dee do 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 winged newts. Ooh, ooh, ah.
Miss Jo! Miss Jo! Damn it, Miss Jo! I need help. I need my speech. I hate this job. I never wanted this job. Miss Jo, I need a copy of my speech. Josephine, I know you came in here. I've got to have my speech, Jo.
Miss Jo rushes back in. She's struggling, trying to get her costume zipped back up.
Lord, Harley, what is it? What happened? Who's hurt?
I need a copy of my speech. I hate speeches, and I can't find the damn speech.
Your speech? I thought that was a... Oh, my God, Harley. I was halfway down the hall to the ladies' room.
Miss Jo, please help me. Wait.
My God, Harley, what?
No, don't you hear that applause? That's Reverend Upton. That's got to be Reverend Upton, about ready to be introduced. I'm up next.
And then you got time. Nobody sermonizes a speech like Reverend Upton. Now, I gotta go pee.
No. Miss Jo, please. He's way behind in his baseball fantasy league, and the Braves game starts in 3 minutes. He'll be quick. I know it. I need my speech.
Harley, you also know how old I am. One unplanned sneeze, and this newt suit is kaput.
Ugh. Josephine Jackson, if you walk out without helping me, I will quit my job. Finished. I'm completely done.
Ha! You know that threat never works. Check the printer.
Well, that's not it. That's. Well, yes. Oh, I've got it. Oh, thank God. I found it. You may pee in peace. Oh, why can't somebody else do this? On behalf of the great city of Yazoo, Mississippi, let me welcome all you to the 17th annual Newt Azuzu. Oh, right, yes. Carnival food, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's get this over with.
Harley dashes out the door, turns one direction down the street as Alex walks up from the other and enters.
Hello? Hello, the door was open? Hello? I'm looking for anyone?
Miss Jo re-enters, struggling to zip up the back of her costume. She and Alex startle each other.
Ah,
Who the hell are you?
what the hell are you?
I'm the assistant to the mayor.
Really?
How'd you get in?
The door was open,
The office is closed.
but the door was
State
open.
offices are closed for Yazoo.
It's what?
Closed.
For
Yazoo.
Newt, whatever you say.
All the activities are down on the square. You'll want to head on down there.
Okay, thanks. I'll do that. Are you okay with that?
Actually, no. Zipper won't go down when you need it to, won't come up when you want it to. It is way past time for a new newt.
New?
For a new newt. I'm a newt.
A nude. Oh, that you are. Okay, I see that now. I suppose. It's a nude. You are a nude. The wings kind of threw me off. Is it?
What else would I be? It's Newt Ayazula. Isn't that why you're here?
No, actually, I'm meeting with Mayor Tidbits on Monday. I just got here a couple of days early. Thought I'd look around a bit. Nuta Yazula? Is that anything like Nutapalooza?
Except this is Yazoo. I never heard of Palooza.
Well,
Is that Mississippi too?
no, it's kind of like
Anyway, this is the 38th annual festival celebrating our biggest and proudest claim to fame, the Yazoo River Wing Newts. Here it is. You must be Alex Halderson. You got an appointment for 8:30 Monday morning?
Yes.
Piece of cake.
Yes, I suppose it was. I mean, I had my office professional call and set it up. Really wasn't that difficult.
No. Would you like a piece of cake?
Oh,
I wanted the cakewalk again, 6-year streak. Well, except 2 years ago, I had my gallbladder out right before. Cake wasn't a good idea. I guess I could have froze it, but that just seems offensive to the baker. Big slice or small?
oh, well, I really.
Here, it's carrot. That practically makes it a salad.
Okay, thank you. So this festival is celebrating newts? Like lizard-looking, kind of slimy newts?
They aren't slimy. And they aren't lizards. They are actually salamanders, if you care to know.
That's interesting. I also didn't realize newts could fly.
They don't.
So the wings are a moot newt?
Exactly.
Like penguins, dodos?
Yazoo River wing newts are the only member of the Pluridinulae subfamily of Salamandridae with wings.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic and very scientific. But they don't fly.
They can fly if they wanted to fly.
But they choose not to.
They choose not to fly. This is probably a big reason why they're endangered.
Of course they are.
Listen, I need to get back to the festival. I got to change out the cash boxes for the kettle corn and kissing boots before 1:30. You're welcome to take that cake with you, but I need to lock the offices back up.
Yes, thank you. It's definitely delicious. Wow. It's a lot. Big piece. But I'll take it with me. Maybe drop it off at my room to finish it later.
You staying here in town?
Yes, I am. Right off the square, according to my GPS.
You must be at the amphibian.
The amphibian? It's because newts are amphibians, it's called the
Amphibian. You don't always hit so well, do you? It's my sister Phoebe's place.
Right, of course. Sister Phoebe, Not a celebrated salamander. That would be really weird.
I don't know about celebrated, but it's very popular, especially now with the new Yazoo going on. I'm surprised you got a room unless you've been planning this trip for a while.
I got lucky, actually. I guess she had a cancellation.
Well, you're not going to get your car down there with the festival going on, so you might just leave it where it is and move it later. If you want to walk down there, I can point out Phoebe's place for you.
Oh, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Is there maybe somewhere I can, leave or put it, since I'm not,
What are you talking about? Just eat it. Come on. I've got to get to the kissing booth.
They both exit to the street and turn downtown. Fade to black. Scene 2. 2 days later, Monday morning in the mayor's office. Harley walks out of his office. Miss Joe enters with the new costume on a hanger.
Well, hello, Miss Joe. I'm pouring coffee.
Morning, Mayor. Yes, please.
There is a morning.
Phoebe sent over some of her rutabaga nutmeg muffins. They're still a bit warm if you want one.
Well, I better not. My digestion isn't quite recovered from the weekend of festival food. I haven't just felt 100%.
When you have the culinary discretion of a seagull, I suppose that's the price you pay.
Well, thank you. What time is that new guy from Tantalum Industries supposed to be here?
8:30. So he should be here shortly. I met him this weekend, by the by. Not the brightest bulb in the socket, if you ask me.
No. Not according to the folks at Tantalum. They're sending him down here to head up their community relations department or some such. Supposed to be a real rising star, face of the company, perfect spokesman, and all that other hoo-ha like that.
There's nothing perfect about that chemical plant, as far as I'm concerned. Wish they'd never come in here and started building it. I saw. And it's changing everything around here. I don't like that.
Now, there's plenty of things in life not to like, but you can't be afraid of change because change is inevitable and likely to sneak up on you and bite you in the ass when you least expect.
Morning.
You must be Mr. Halverson.
I am, and please call me Alex.
Harley Tickets. I'm the mayor of this little corner of Mississippi.
You've got a wonderful town here, Mayor Tidbits. I had a chance to spend some time looking around over the weekend.
Well, then you got to enjoy our Nuta Zazula. Huh? That's always a good time. All around the best time to be in Yazoo.
It was definitely something to experience.
Nice to see you again. Can I get you some coffee? I've got a basket of Phoebe's rutabaga nutmeg muffins too, if you want one.
Have we? Oh, yes. I didn't recognize you without your newtish alter ego.
Miss Joe? Why, she's been newting the newt for the festival for a lot of years. A whole lot of years. She's a celebrity in these parts because of it. Everybody loves Newton the Newt.
Now, Harley, I wouldn't say celebrity. Go on now.
Oh, you almost can't have an event around here without a special appearance by Yazoo the Newt.
I'm glad to know a local celebrity then.
Can I get you that coffee and a muffin?
Oh, coffee would be great, thanks. If you have a little oat milk too, that would be outstanding, but I'll pass on the muffin. Breakfast at the inn was delicious, if not excessive. I'm not sure though if grits are my thing.
Phoebe does put out the spread, but you better get used to grits if you want to survive in Mississippi.
Yeah. Let's head on into my office, why don't we? Can you top me off, Miss Joe? and Bring them in with you.
Oh, milk. What the is oat milk? City boy, pretty boy, fancy suit and haircut boy. But no one fits who won't eat grits. That fussy, mushy oat milk boy. Dum, 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 dum.
Phoebe enters from the street.
Hello. Good morning. Hey there, Phoebe. How's everything over at the inn?
Oh, bit nuts of cuckoo. I've been completely full because of the festival, and Becca called out because her youngest is sick, which makes me single-handed right now. But it's not all as bad as all that.
I wondered why I didn't see you earlier when I came by for the muffins.
Well, everybody's checked out now. Only one left is that tantrum guy, Alex. Although there's somebody else checking in today from Tantrum, a girl, woman, female person. I don't know who she is.
It's Tantaloon, not Tantrum. Tantaloon Industries. Huh. Wonder who that is. And what's the scoop on this Alex guy?
Expensive luggage, picky eater, moaning runner, bums a lot. And he asked if he could get some kind of special bottled water for his room that, to be honest, I don't think our Walmart cares. Besides, what's wrong with just drinking out the faucet?
He asked me for oat milk. I'll be dipped if I know what oat milk is.
Oh, I do. It's plant-based stuff for people who can't do lactose. I don't think that's at the Walmart either, but I saw it at the Costco in Jackson. I found this out about him. His people actually come from this area.
Oh, he's from here?
I guess. Or his family is. Halder, Halder, son, Hall something. No one I've heard of.
Halder son. Halder son. I almost had it. But no, never heard of him.
He's here to be a liaison between that new chemical company and Yazoo, integrating to the community, communicate stuff from the company, find out how folks are feeling about it. Sounds to me like he's some kind of corporate spy.
That's giving him a little more dramatic credit than I think he deserves. But also, you're probably not completely wrong either. They said basically the same thing.
I think it's kind of exciting.
I think the whole thing is big bundle.
Well, call me later if you hear anything I need to know. Call me right away if it's something you think I shouldn't know. I got to get on with my errands.
Hey, can you drop Newton at the cleaners? See if they can't get the sticky stuff off the right leg. One of those Griffin kids with cotton candy hands was stuck on me like a brush burr.
Oh, I'm going past there anyway.
And that's a great start. And I can certainly see how that had come together. What? Now, you're welcome to come along unless you'd rather schedule that yourself.
Oh, I appreciate that, Mayor, but I'll set up a time when I can get her full attention. Oh, hi there, Phoebe.
Hello, and goodbye. I'm off. Need to get on with these errands. Taking the newt for the cleaners.
Tell them to check that zipper too. While they got it, maybe it needs to be replaced. It stinks.
Sure. See all y'all later.
I've got that chamber meeting this morning, so I'm walking over there now. I told Alex that he's welcome to set up here and work if he'd like. If there's anything he needs, I told him to come to you because you're in charge now.
Sure thing.
Well, it shouldn't be too long, and we can go over those plans of yours when I get back.
That'll be great. I appreciate it. So I could just work over here if that's okay.
Wherever you like. So, Alex, Phoebe says your people are from around here. Do I know?
Hard to say. I don't actually know them.
You don't know your own folks?
Yes and no. I was adopted as a newborn, so I don't know my biological family. I mean, my mom, my adopted mom, told me when I found out that I was coming down here that my biofam happens to be from this area.
Biofam?
My biological family.
Sounds toxic.
Like biowaste? Maybe. I know nothing about them.
How they know this is where you came from?
Well, there were little newts with tiny little wings all over the baby blanket. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I don't know. I'll have to ask my mother, get more information.
Interesting. So you don't know anything about your real parents?
Well, the people who raised me are my real parents. I'm very lucky that they chose to love me and invest in me. But maybe since I'm down here, I should take some time to find out more about my actual roots.
You might not like what you find out. Sleeping dogs and all.
Possibly. Maybe I'll do one of the ancestry DNA tests and see what shakes out.
How's your adopted mom and dad going to feel about you dredging up the bio waste?
I don't suppose they feel too threatened, or my mom wouldn't have mentioned that I'm from here, wouldn't you think?
Mothers can be tricky things.
Who knows? Maybe I'll look into it a little further. I mean, why not?
Right. Why not? What's the worst thing that could happen?
Exactly.
What will you do, though, when you discover your parents are tree-hugging environmentalists working for Greenpeace and speaking out about big industry destroying the earth?
What?
How are you going to explain to your newfound mother that Mother Nature is being destroyed at your very own hands?
Well, wait a minute. What?
Thanksgiving dinner will be one heck of a show with you and your newly discovered little sister Greta Thunberg around the table. I'd love to be a fly on that wall when you explain your important job working for a big, nasty, community-destroying chemical company.
Stop. Greta Thunberg is Swedish. I don't think they celebrate Thanksgiving. Besides, I'm not here to hurt anyone. And at Tantalum Industries isn't in the business of destroying anything.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
I'll believe that when newts fly.
Miss Jo exits to the hall. Samantha enters from the street.
Alex, there you are.
Samantha, what are you doing here? You're on this project?
Samantha crosses to him and slaps his face.
Ow! There are policies protecting employees from workplace violence.
Report it to HR.
You are HR.
There's policy about inter-office dating too. You didn't seem too worried about company policy back then.
Dating? We are not dating.
No, we're not. And why I ever considered going out with you, I will have to eventually answer in therapy.
We never went out.
Which changes nothing of what happened.
Nothing happened.
I'll suppose we'll have to continue to agree to disagree.
Hey, Alex, who's your friend?
We're not friends.
Miss Jo enters from the hall carrying a package of printing paper.
Oh, hello. Who's this?
We're not friends.
No, we're not friends. We're
definitely not friends.
Okay, is this your girlfriend, Alex?
What? No, absolutely not my girlfriend.
Okay, thank you. Do you mind? I'm Samantha Norman. I'm the on-site human resources representative for Tantalum Industries. I'm here to start work for staffing for the new site.
Well, nice to meet you. Harley Tibbetts, Mayor Tibbetts, Mayor of Yazoo.
Tidbits? Mayor Tidbits?
Tibbetts.
Alex, you running a fever? Your cheek is red.
Well, it's nice to meet you. We're glad that you're here, and I think you'll find an excellent workforce pool to choose from. Let us know how we can help.
Harley exits to his office.
I suppose we'll see soon enough how deep, or more likely how shallow, the pool is.
So, Samantha, do you go by Sam?
No.
Okay, Samantha, can I get you a muffin and some coffee?
No, thank you.
Fine. So, will you be out at that nasty plant? Do they have offices finished over there yet?
Now, it's not nasty, Miss Joe. Here, how about I just take you
No,
over?
actually, my first order of business is to find a suitable location where I can set up shop. I expected there to be a hotel here with a business center.
Aren't you at the amphibian?
Amphibian? Excuse me?
Amphibian. What is it with you people that can't hear?
Oh, what is it with you people that can't speak? All y'all done fixing to ask questions of may your tidbits? Oh, but really, I don't have time to chitty chat with all y'alls. If you'll excuse me, I need to establish a workspace.
What was wrong with the workspace you had back where you came from?
Alex, it appears you'll be working out of the offices here at City Hall?
I'm not supposed you could say that in a fashion.
Excellent. I'll get my laptop and files out of my car. I think it's best if we work as closely together as possible.
Samantha exits to the street.
I'm fixing the axe her, all right. I didn't think I could hate that nasty plant more than I already do. Then she got here. Send her on out to the nasty plant because I need her working here like wings on a newt.
Miss Joe, the plant isn't nasty. It's going to be one of the most modern production facilities in this part of the country. Very clean and environmentally friendly.
Oh, isn't that? You'll just see how friendly the environment is when the newt bloom happens.
Newt bloom?
Yes, Alex. Thousands and thousands of baby winged newts emerging all around that whole area where your nasty plant is.
Really? Emerging? Don't newts lay eggs that hatch as tadpoles?
Newts, angry for being disturbed, terrorizing your newly hired employees. That horrid HR girl can find anyone around here that's willing to work with her.
I'm not arguing that Samantha is, that she's a unique personality, but she's very good at her job, according to her. That's what she's told me.
Wing newts jamming your equipment, contaminating your processes, feeding on the flesh of your new hires.
Okay, Miss Joe. Let's unpack this. All right. For salamanders, endangered salamanders who refuse to fly and normally exist on bugs to start eating people, that would be remarkably unprecedented. Our corporate environmentalists have no recorded evidence of that ever happening before.
There's never been a nasty plant here before.
Blackout. Scene 3. Several weeks later. Evidence that Alex has set up an ongoing office space on the coffee table. Samantha's workspace is set up across from him. Harley, disheveled and wearing his sash, and Phoebe enter from the street and remove their shoes at the door.
I honestly would rather perform my own dental work than officiate functions like that one. I really hate this job. It gives me the worst indigestion.
I thought you did a lovely job, Harley. You're really a wonderful public speaker. It wasn't as bad as all that.
Phoebe, nobody sees the bright side of a dark situation like you can. But that ribbon cutting of Tantalum Industry Plant site that will live on for a generational trauma.
I don't suppose you could ask Alan over at the paper not to run the photos.
That's a good idea. Let's add suppressing the media to the situation. I can almost promise you that the picture of Newton the Newt at Tantalum's head of community relations wrestling in the mud will be on front page, probably for weeks. Oh.
I really don't know what got into her, other than she just feels very strongly about not having that chemical plant here.
Oh, then write a letter to the editor. Call your congressman. Organize a rally, for God's sakes. But don't do what she did.
You're right, of course. Choosing violence is never the answer, no matter what the question is. Will this whole melee damage things with Talcum Industries, do you think?
Talcum Industries? Talcum? Oh, Tantalum Industries. No, I don't think Tantalum is going to be at all impressed.
What is actually wrong with you people?
It's your heart. Oh, shoes. You might take off your shoes.
Oh, sure.
You know-
I'll take off my shoes. Who needs shoes in this swampland mud hole? Those are destroyed anyway. I'm surprised people around here even wear shoes at all.
Obviously, we're new to the idea.
I have a master's degree from Harvard School of Business, and somehow I'm in podunk refereeing mud wrestling between some dwarf-sized Godzilla and a corporate climber in a Brooks Brothers sail rack suit.
Now, it's not as bad as all that. Alex's suit looks very expensive, although it's always nice to find a good sale. Here, you have a little, there's a blob of mud there on your,
There's mud on my face. Well, that's horribly, miserably, unspeakably ironic.
Well, it did have a bit of Godzilla versus Megatron battle for the dominance feel of it, didn't it?
we all recover from that drunk mall Santa episode. This will blow over too, just as well. And she's just upset. Understandably.
Alex enters from the street.
Ooh, in some places, mud baths are an exotic luxury, right? I used the power washer in your shed on my suit, Phoebe. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, it's okay with me, but I'm not sure how your suit will be with it. Did it say power wash it on the label? I'll take a look when I get back over to the inn. I'm sure it's not as bad as all that.
Maybe toss the whole mess of it in the trash. I can order a new suit and search from my tailor.
Taylor? Oh, I know you weren't a sale rack kind of guy. See you later, Holly. Try not to kill Joe.
Have you spoken to Miss Joe? Despite everything, I do hope she's all right.
There's nothing all right about Miss Joe today.
She has a well-developed passion for Yazoo. I can appreciate that.
Well, that's generous, considering.
Well, passion is important. To have real conviction. I think I can be that way too. Get an idea and not let go, even if maybe I should.
She needs to let go of this grudge against Tantalum. She's not going to win this war.
People adjust to change at different rates. Some are just going to take a bit longer.
I could use an antacid. A handful of antacids.
Before anyone says anything, I'd like to apologize.
Miss Joe?
If you'll just give me a chance to say what I have to say.
This better be good.
Thank you. First of all, I want to apologize to you, Alex. That escalated quickly and was completely my fault. I'm well past embarrassed by my behavior, and I hope you can at some point forgive me.
I appreciate the apology, Miss Joe. Emotions can sometimes run high.
That doesn't excuse what happened. I got you this. Please accept it as an olive branch and assurance that this will never happen again.
Miss Joe hands him a small flat box.
The apology is accepted, but you certainly didn't need to do this.
It's a tie to replace the one you had on. I'm sorry too if it seemed I was trying to strangle you with it.
Thank you. It's a great tie.
It has newts on it. They sell them down at the chamber. I figured you didn't have one.
No, as a matter of fact, I don't, but I do now. So thank you.
And Mayor, I cannot express how sorry I am. I completely expect to be terminated and support you in that decision. My sincere regrets are that my actions reflected badly on you.
Fire you? Ha! If all it took to get you out of this office was the offsides tackle of an opposing player, I'd have done it myself. Well, we'll get you some community service as a penitence.
Oh, wow. My corporate offices have already seen some of the pictures. My boss just messaged me, and they must be getting posted on his social media.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
What baby Jesus? What are you all looking at?
There's pictures from today on the internet. I guess corporate has seen them already.
That's me? Oh, I never realized how big that new costume makes my butt look.
Your butt? You're worried about what your butt looks like?
It's probably just because of the angle. I mean, the photographer was still up on the platform.
Are you both insane?
I'm sure you haven't considered that Tantalum Industries is very likely lawyering up to press assault charges.
Assault?
Yes, assault.
Assault charges?
That's what happens when you tackle an innocent person unprovoked, careen off a platform into the mud, then roll around trying to strangle them in a fit of anger. It's called assault.
Assault? Oh, Heavenly Father. Yes, Josephine. When you assault someone, you get arrested and booked into jail where you rot for the rest of your lives while eating bologna and cheese sandwiches while watching a black and white TV.
This isn't completely my fault. What did he expect? Telling the whole world that Yazoo is a bunch of backwater inbred knuckle draggers and that Tantalum Industries is just what we need to bring us up into the current century.
Now, wait a minute, Miss Joe. I didn't say anything like that. I said Tantalum and Yazoo would build a partnership for advancement and enrichment, would join together into a big, happy family.
Says the guy who doesn't even know his own family.
I don't think it matters what he said. You can't violently tackle people, or they press charges.
I'm not going to press charges.
Tantalum is going to press charges. You can definitely count on that.
I need an antacid.
Alex gets a notification on his phone and turns away to read it.
I'm sorry, Harley. I really am.
We need to notify the city attorney. Can you pull up his calendar on the computer? Josephine Jackson, I've known you my whole life, but even I don't know what you've gotten into.
It was impulsive and not well thought out.
Well, you've done some stupid things, but this is the top 5 stupidest.
Oh, wow. This is unexpected.
What's that? I can't take much more unexpected today.
This email I just got.
The legal department moves a whole lot faster than I expected.
It's not that. Miss Joe, do you remember a few weeks back we talked about me being adopted?
You're adopted?
Yes. My mom, my adopted mother, told me just before I came down here that I was actually born around here or in this part of the state.
Wow, that's a great thing to find out. I guess that makes you one of the family.
Thank you for saying so. That's very kind. Who wouldn't want to be from here?
I wouldn't.
I decided, after talking to Miss Joe about it, to find more details about my history, about who my biological family is. So I signed up for and did that 23andMe DNA test.
You did what?
23andMe. They analyze your DNA and decipher your ancestry. It's likely not popular here since everyone knows they're brothers and sisters and first cousins.
It can show you connections to ancestors and family and things like that by matching your DNA.
I know what it is.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I've done that. My wife had us all do that last year when she got into all that genealogy stuff. She tracked her family tree back to the 1600s or something. Yeah.
I don't think I want just anyone having my DNA. What if I want to commit one of those true crimes, huh? They'd have me tracked down and booked in the first 5 minutes of the show.
That may happen now, regardless, after today. Mayor Tidbits, do you mind if I use your office for some privacy for a call to my corporate office?
Tibbets. It's actually Tibbets. But sure, go ahead. Now, did you find some connection?
I did. I just got a notification on the app that there's a match. I was completely surprised, to be honest. I'd almost forgot about the whole thing.
There's a match?
There's an app?
Does it tell you who the match is? How you're related?
I don't know. All it says is 23andMe has found a DNA match. I have to open it up on my computer and look.
This is so intriguing. I can see now how my wife was so addicted to this. Open it. What are you waiting for?
Well, I'm not sure. It's a little overwhelming. I didn't really believe that it would connect me to an actual blood relative. Not this fast.
So ignore it. Maybe you don't need to find out that you're related to some horrible person like Vladimir Putin or Pete Rose. Ignorance is bliss.
Maybe he's related to Bill Gates or how about Mahatma Gandhi? Huh?
Gandhi? Mahatma Gandhi?
I'm sure none of those people are my family tree.
Mahatma Gandhi isn't even anywhere near your family forest.
I'm just saying that he could find out who his family is and they could be perfectly nice people. Oh, that's all.
What kind of perfectly nice person gives away a baby?
Well, there could be all kinds of reasons why, don't you think?
Yeah. So see who it says you're connected to.
Maybe all you found is your fifth cousin twice removed. No one important at all. Or Vlad the Impaler.
All right, let's open it up and see if I'm connected to Vlad the Impaler. Because you're right, Miss Jo. It might not be anything at all. I'll never know, though, if I don't look.
Alex sits in front of his computer while Miss Jo and Harley look over his shoulder.
Okay, login password. All right, it says you have one relative in common. Who knew that? Let's click on it and...
What's it say? I can't read without my other glasses.
Wait. I'm confused. Is that right?
That's not right.
That can't be right.
Is what right?
That's a joke, isn't it? You two are playing a joke.
I'm not playing anything. What's it say?
It says close relative Harley Tidbits' father.
What? The what? The what?
Oh my God!
Harley faints.
Hey. Oh no, Harley, are you okay?
What happened?
Mayor Tidbits.
Harley!
You attacked the mayor?
No!
No one panic! I'm a human resources trained responder.
Call an ambulance!
Call an ambulance!
I'm calling. Hang on, Harley, hang on.
Mayor Tidbits, are you okay?
Everyone secure the area.
My chest.
Oh boy, let's pick up the pace, people.
This is Josephine Jackson at City Hall.
It's gonna be okay.
I'm in charge. I'll say when it's okay.
It's Mary Tidbits. I need an ambulance immediately.
I have this under control.
Alex, the ambulance is coming, Alex. The ambulance is coming.
Oh, yeah, we need a wheelchair.
A wheelchair?
So he's ready when they get here.
What wheelchair?
The wheelchair.
It happened just now.
It's a government building. There has to be a wheelchair.
It's in the hallway. The closet.
Get the wheelchair.
Okay, I'll get the wheelchair.
He had a shock and then collapsed.
Sirens, sounds are getting louder.
Let's keep it moving, folks.
I'm hurrying.
Hurry. He looks pale.
I am hurrying.
Okay, get him up.
I can't lift him by myself. Give me a hand.
They try to pick up Harley, who is sort of conscious but mostly floppy dead weight. The wheelchair is pushed away because the brake wasn't set.
Get the chair.
I got the chair.
Set the brake on the chair.
Samantha drops Harley to set the brake. Harley collapses on top of Alex on the floor.
You were supposed to hold him.
Chest pain. But he may also have a concussion now.
Help me get him up.
I've got to go. They're about to kill him.
Stay with us, Mayor Tidbits.
Okay, here we go.
Harley is wrestled into the wheelchair.
I'll push him. I'm his assistant. Get the door.
I'll push him. I'm in charge here. You get the door.
I'm going to push him. I'm his son. Both of you get the hell out of the way and get the damn door. The ambulance is here.
Flashing red lights are seen through the windows. Alex pushes the wheelchair out to the ambulance. Miss Jo follows after him.
Well, I think I handled that with textbook precision.
Samantha's phone rings in her pocket. She answers it.
Samantha Norman. Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry, I did hang up on you. We had a crisis, but it will all be fine with the result of my swift actions and excellent decision making. I don't know. The mayor had some things strokey, heart attack-ish. He's in an ambulance. Yes. Yes, sir. I plan to submit a full report. Yes. Goodbye. I'll probably receive the key to the city for saving Mayor Tiddlywinks. I'll put that in the report.
It's ridiculous. There was another seat in the ambulance.
Tidbits is off to the hospital?
They have rules, Joe. You're not family. Teresa Ann will meet them at the hospital.
I'm just saying, someone should be with him until his wife gets there.
What I'm saying is this will be one heck of a workman's comp claim.
I just can't believe he's gone.
Of course he's gone. Gone to the hospital, right?
It's not right that he's not here.
Feel responsible.
Tibbets is okay, isn't he?
No, honey, it's not your fault. Absolutely not your fault. You didn't know.
Well, if I know it, I never have pursued any of this. I never thought he would get a heart
He'd be
attack.
what?
I'm just heartbroken.
Why heartbroken? Oh my God, he's dead? You killed him?
No, he's not dead. Good Lord.
Oh, phew. Oh my gosh, that's great. You scared me. Him being dead is not going to look as good in my report.
No, he's not dead. He's my dad.
Your dad.
No one reading my report cares about that. So, excuse me, I need to go write that.
Samantha exits to Harley's office.
We should have known Harley had a heart problem.
I think I did. I made him appointments with Doc Lopez's office.
The carbonologist?
Cardiologist. Harley said it was blood pressure or something. How was I supposed to know? City Hall is, after all, a hotbed for hypertension.
Mayor Tidbits is my father. It's a full Luke Skywalker moment, but I mean in a good way.
Alex, honey, let's talk about that. Here, sit down. You're about 30, right?
33.
33.
Well, Mayor Tibbetts was early 20s then when you were conceived.
I would have been graduating high school and Henry and Harley graduating from college.
Oh, except Henry graduated later in December because he took off that semester when his mom was sick, remember?
Right. Then Harley married Teresa Ann in the new year.
This is all very interesting, but I'm not following how this all pertains to me.
Me neither. Let's skip the trip down memory lane.
Joe didn't go to the wedding because she did a gap year study abroad thing after high school. It was beautiful wedding, really something.
Seriously, Phoebe, what's your point here?
My point is that Harley Tibbetts can't be your father, Alex.
Well, there you go. Of course he's not. Not sure how you got that, but let's move on then.
No, wait. I don't understand why you're saying that.
Well, when Harley married Teresa Ann, he was still a virgin. There's no way he could be your father.
But the 23andMe reports said he and I have a 48.08% common DNA. That's about half. My biological mother would be the other half, and there you go. So how do you say he's not my biological father?
How do you know Harley Tibbetts was a virgin? He would never have told you such a thing.
No, he wouldn't have told me. Although I don't know, he might have. But he would tell his brother, and his brother told me.
He has a brother?
Yes, Henry. They're twins.
What?
Anybody hungry?
Twins. They are twins.
I'm gonna call in an order to the Dairy Queen.
Yes, identical twins.
What's everybody want?
They were super close, but after they graduated from college and Harley got married, they completely lost touch with each other.
Twins.
It's all on me today.
Henry left Yazoo and never came back. It was really strange because they had been so close. No one really knows why.
Hunger busters? Cheese? No.
Phoebe, if Henry and Harley are identical twins, then they share pretty much identical DNA.
I'm calling now. Tell me what you want.
Which means my DNA would also match with Henry's.
But your report didn't say Henry. It said Harley.
Probably because Mayor Tibbetts was in their system. He said his wife made them all take the test for her genealogy research. He was in the system. Henry wasn't. That's why he didn't match with me through 23andMe.
You're saying that Henry Tibbetts could be your biological father?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I say that's ridiculous.
And that can't possibly be true. Seriously, it's really just not possible.
Almost completely, nearly impossible.
Why not? It seems pretty obvious, doesn't it?
It's not possible because Henry and I were...
Phoebe, there's probably a mistake somewhere. It's not...
I don't know how there'd be a mistake. It's all done in a highly scientific way, just like the police or the FBI or the CIA.
Oh my God, no, it all makes sense. Why he broke up with me? Why he never came back to Yazoo?
No, honey, there's no sense here.
No, it all makes perfect sense. He was a fool then, and I always have been.
You're not a fool, Phoebe.
Oh my God, I am such a fool. I have to get out of here.
Phoebe!
Miss Joe, what is it? What did I do?
What did you do? What did you do?
Miss Joe stops as she was about to chase after Phoebe. glares at Alex and charges him like an angry bull. We don't see her tackle him because, well, blackout. The next day, Samantha enters from the street.
Hello, Alex? Hey, Alex, your car's outside, so I know you're here. Hiding is infantile and also futile.
Alex enters from Harley's office. One arm is in a wrist to elbow cast, but covered by his long sleeves.
Oh, good morning.
There you are. I looked for you last night. I thought we were going to have dinner together.
Absolutely not.
Alex, you're fired.
What?
You're fired, Alex. Tantalum is severing the working relationship, terminating your employment.
Because I won't have dinner with you?
In the short time you've been in Yazoo, you've been not only ineffective, but detrimental to the long-term plans the company has for establishing a positive relationship with the community throughout the process of constructing a major manufacturing facility here.
I'm fired.
That's one way to put it. I think that way most accurately sums up the situation. So yes, you're fired. Considering the accruing legal fees, medical fees, and miscellaneous collateral damage, leadership feels you're too much of a liability.
Well, I'm very sorry about that.
Miss Joe enters from the hallway. One arm is in a wrist to elbow cast, also covered by long sleeves.
I'm also very sorry too.
What are you apologizing for?
I just assumed there was something else I'd done that I should apologize for. It's becoming a habit. At some point, I should probably break it. I mean, the habit. How's your arm, Alex?
For 4 to 6 weeks, give or take. I'll be fine. How's yours?
4 to 6 weeks, give or take. It'll be fine.
I have paperwork you'll need to sign, then I'll collect your badge and computer.
Oh, what's going on?
I've been fired.
Oh, good for you. Oh, no, that's too bad.
On a positive note, it does eliminate the issue with inter-office dating.
Absolutely not.
Well, I've got to be at the site for the job fair. We can talk more about it tonight over dinner.
That won't happen.
As Samantha exits, Phoebe enters with a basket of muffins.
Good morning, Miss Savannah.
It's Samantha.
Oh, of course. Hi, Alex, Joe.
Phoebe, honey, I tried calling you all that last night.
I really don't want to talk about any of it right now. I just stopped by to bring these muffins over. Buttered carbohydrates are always a step in process in a difficult situation.
I understand. I'm here if or when you want to talk.
Are you all right, though? Honestly, I never meant any of this to hurt you.
You haven't done anything wrong. Truth always comes out.
Yep, the truth.
Always comes out. Truth does.
I think that's why my parents were always very honest about me being adopted.
Right, honest. Everyone should just be honest.
Absolutely. Everyone should be honest because the truth will become a tree.
Will set you free.
Oh, that too.
On the topic of honesty, let me ask you something, Alex. And I want you to be completely honest.
All right.
Do you have hard feelings toward your birth mother that she terminated her rights to raise you?
Completely honest? No, I don't. I wonder why, but I always thought that she felt it was the best thing for me. I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision for her. Why do you ask?
Yeah. Why are you asking about that?
Well, I was awake all last night thinking, and and realized that it's just that, well, there's something that I don't know, that I've never really told anyone.
Miss Joe, what is it? If you know something about my birth parents, Miss Joe, please, you have to tell me.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do. I think I might know a lot.
Then come out with it, Joe.
Okay, yes, I'll come out with it. My senior year, there was a Valentine's dance.
I remember that. You went with that boy, Tim. Oh, I never liked him.
Oh, I didn't realize it. But I didn't realize it, but he was spiking my drinks with vodka all night.
That PTO limeade and ginger ale punch.
Ew, with vodka?
Pretty soon I couldn't find my own butt with both hands, and he's pulling me under the bleachers in the gym.
Joey, what did you do?
I vomited on him.
An outstanding defensive move on your part.
He said I was prude and a tease. Then he left me there, snocker, shame, with no clue what I'd left my shoes.
I should have been there to come get you.
You were away at college, but I knew Henry was home.
You called Henry?
Henry? My boyfriend, Henry?
To come get me.
And Henry, he
rescued me.
My boyfriend, Henry.
I was so
thankful.
Yes, and I
wrote a thoughtful note of appreciation.
Wanted to prove that
you weren't a prude and a tease.
When we were alone, I cornered him
and unleashed the full power of your womanly wiles.
On him? My boyfriend.
Well, even the strongest man can only withstand the womanly wiles onslaught for so long.
He tried to protest.
But you took advantage of his kindness.
My boyfriend, Henry.
Then I found out later
that you were pregnant.
Pregnant? No, you did not.
Yes, I
my boyfriend.
Yes, and then I
had a baby.
Yes, I had a baby.
Of course she had a baby. That's what happens when you get pregnant. You have a baby with my boyfriend.
And the baby was
a boy.
Oh.
No.
Yes.
This is not how I remember all that happening. Okay. This isn't as bad as all that.
Oh, wow. It's you? You're my... wow.
Except, actually, it is as bad as all that. Joseph, you know I loved Henry Tibbetts. He was my everything.
My actual mother.
We were going to get married and have a family and 2 housebroken dogs in a van with the doors that open on both sides and live happily ever after together.
I know that, Phoebe. You think I didn't know that?
I have so many questions now.
I've had so many questions then. Why he'd leave me? Was it me? Was he a total, heartless, insensitive, miserable, unredeemable jerk? And I just didn't see it. No. Quit wondering. Do you know why, Joe? Do you know why? Go ahead. Ask me why.
Henry quietly enters from the street, blends into the background so as not to be noticed by the group, and overhears the conversation.
Because even now, I still love Henry Tibbetts. I never stopped loving Henry Tibbetts. Even if he was a total, heartless, insensitive, miserable, unredeemable jerk. I quit wondering why he left. I never quit loving Henry Tibbetts.
I'm sorry, Phoebe. I was young and stupid
And drunk.
and drunk. And it just happened. I didn't know how I'd get pregnant. I had strep throat the week that got covered in health class.
You had a baby, Joe. With that baby. A man I've always loved.
Samantha barges in from the street and into Henry, startling everyone.
Oh,
Henry?
It's Harley.
You're here?
because of Harley.
About Harley.
You said baby.
Yes, baby.
Seriously, Harley?
That baby?
Dad?
Died. Harley Tidbits died.
He what?
Henry grabs his chest and faints.
Henry.
You killed another tidbit.
Oh, God. I'm Simba in the Lion King on repeat.
And blackout. Act 2. Scene 1. Lights up on Alex on the couch at his computer, applying for jobs. Phoebe enters in funeral garb.
Hey, Phoebe. How you doing? How was the funeral?
It was a lovely service. And of course, a huge crowd. You really could have come. You are technically family.
I'm still working through my Judas syndrome. Maybe next funeral.
You have nothing to feel guilty about. For such a kind-hearted man, Harley had a really bad heart. Something like this was just waiting to happen.
Perhaps you're right. I'm glad the funeral was so well attended.
Samantha was there.
You mean Samantha?
Henry enters from the street, also in funeral attire.
Please, I've been trying to get you to talk to you for a moment.
Have you, Henry?
Yes, Phoebe, I need to tell you that.
Phoebe slaps him across the face as Samantha enters.
Whoa.
You're a heartless, insensitive, miserable, unredeemable jerk.
Oh, God, that hurt.
Right? When you don't see it coming?
The truth does hurt.
It does hurt when the man you love
Work with.
is a complete pink stump newt.
Do you mean nincompoop?
Is that what it is?
Phoebe, please. I've been trying to find you to talk to you.
Have you?
So slow down, use your words.
I'd love to see the Hatfields and McCoys justify their bad behavior, but I need to set up interviews for Alex's replacement. Mind if I use the mayor's office since it's obviously vacant right now?
Samantha exits to the mayor's office.
Bad behavior. But I didn't.
Honestly, I really didn't.
Yes, you did.
Although if I hadn't, gone through with that with that test.
Because I would have.
And I should have.
But you didn't.
I think we could all just
No, we can't. I'm done. Thank you. I'm done with both of you.
Henry.
Dad.
Now, about that.
Henry.
Dad.
Joe, how did this happen?
What do you mean? How did this happen? Did you have strep throat that week too?
I know how it happens. How did Because me.
Henry, I'm sorry. I should have told you and Phoebe.
I'm sorry, Joe, but I think I better, because there's which might be.
Henry exits.
Alex, I don't know what to say.
I think the time to say something was 33 plus years ago.
Alex exits. Fade to black. Scene 2. Several days later. Samantha's laptop and computer bag have replaced Alex's. Her cell phone rings on the table. Miss Joe enters from the street.
Samantha Norman. Yes, sir. I was just going to call. It's what? You're what? I'm what? That's not possible. How is that possible? Oh, I see. Oh, that. That too? Really? That? Well, I mean, yes, I suppose it's quite possible, but will I at least get a really? No, I suppose I understand. Yes, sir. Goodbye.
Are you okay?
Am I okay? No, I'm not okay. I've not been okay since 2015. There might have been 2 days in early November 2017 when I was really close to my goal weight that I was okay, but that was after 3 days of food poisoning. So let's just go with no. No, I am not okay.
Let me clarify the question. Has something happened to make you significantly less okay than on any other day? Weight fluctuations notwithstanding.
Actually, yes, it has. Something has definitely happened. I just got fired. Those people, they fired me.
Oh, there now. It's all right. But just making sure we're on the same page. These are happy tears, right?
No, they're not. But that was just a temporary lapse. Why would I be happy about this? I just lost my job.
The way I look at it, you just got liberated from indentured servitude to a company that is out to destroy our community, our environment, and our way of life.
Right, your elected officials. I have bigger problems.
My elected official unexpectedly left office due to his own unplanned death.
Can we stay focused? This is about me.
You're right. I'm sorry.
How could this even happen? It's unprecedented. They can't just fire me. Who do they think they are?
They must have had a reason.
They said there were a number of complaints. How could there be complaints?
Did he tell you what the complaints were?
I don't know. Some ridiculous things. Harassment, micromanagement, misappropriation of authority, bullying, personal relationships in violation of corporate policy, violence, and something about toilet paper during the pandemic. I wasn't really listening anymore at that point.
That's quite a case against you.
Except it's a frame up, a smear campaign, retaliation by those whose jealousy is matched by their incompetency.
In all fairness, based solely on my own personal observations,
they can't get away with this. Absolutely, they cannot get away with this. I will make them pay.
I'm sure you'll get some sort of severance package, although maybe not, considering all the...
I don't want their money. Well, yes, I still do. I still have a car payment, but it's more about money. They mess with the wrong person, and they need to know that. I'm not taking this lying down.
Well, be careful there. You don't want to make this whole thing to come back on you, blowing it up in your face.
What did you say?
Be careful.
No, the other part.
Come back on you?
No, the other part.
Blow up in your face?
Yes, that's it. Blow up. Blow it up. I think you hit on something, Miss Joe.
I didn't hit on anything. There was no hitting.
They think they've taken me out. They have another thing coming.
Exactly. Let's think. Think through this calmly and rationally.
I'll land a blow where it'll really hurt them and they won't see it coming. Will not even see it coming.
See what coming? What's coming? This doesn't sound good.
This whole thing is ridiculous. Lizard-loving, map-dot, podunk, mudhole town won't see it coming. I promise you that.
Actually, they're newts, not lizards.
Where's the military surplus store around here?
The what? Where are you going?
Never mind. I'll just Google it. Lob a termination grenade at me, will ya?
Samantha, what are you planning?
Blow it all up. Blow it all the way up. Kaboom.
Samantha exits.
Oh, no. Oh, this isn't good at all. I need to call Phoebe. No, Phoebe's not speaking to me. I'll call. No, Paul is not speaking to anyone. Dang it. I can't just let the newly anointed queen of cuckoo go full Unabomber on Yazoo. I have to stop her. Of course I have to stop her. But how? It has to be in a way like she said that she doesn't even see it coming.
Miss Joe stops in front of the new costume as an idea pops into her head. She grabs the suit and exits down the hall to the bathroom with it. Blackout. Scene 3. Lights up as Alex enters with his suitcase. He's leaving Yazoo. As he looks around for Miss Joe, an explosion, lights and sounds everywhere, is seen outside the office windows. The phone on Miss Joe's desk and in the mayor's office begin to ring.
Hello? Yazoo City Hall? Yes, this is Alex Halverson. Yes, absolutely, I heard it. Yes, it was very loud, but I have no idea what it was. I'm sure emergency management personnel are responding. Okay, I have other calls coming in. Okay, goodbye.
He hangs up and dashes towards the mayor's office to answer the phone, which has been ringing the whole time. Halfway there, Miss Jones' phone starts ringing again. He dashes back and answers it.
Yazoo City Hall, Alex. I absolutely, I heard it. It was very loud. No idea what it was. Emergency personnel was responding. I have other calls. City Hall. Yeah, I heard it loud. No idea that they're responding. Gotta go. Yo, no. Whoa, no. City Hall heard it loud. Okay, yo, no. I hope so.
Alex?
Phoebe.
Did.
Yes.
Boom.
Loud.
Was it?
Oh no. I hope so. That's all I know.
The phone started ringing again. Phoebe dashes into the mayor's office. Alex dashes to Miss Joe's desk and grabs the phone again.
Hello, City Hall. This is Alex Halverson. No. I'm not the new mayor. I work for. I used to work for Tantalum Industries. I'm just answering the phones right now. No one else is here. Yes. I heard the explosion. Just remain calm. All right, we'll get updates as soon as we can.
His cell phone rings in his pocket.
Hello, City Hall? No. I mean, this is Alex Halverson. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm still here in Yazoo. Of course. Absolutely. Thank you. Right away, sir. Absolutely. I'm on it.
Alex, I just talked to Whitney Miller in the sheriff's office.
That is not her name.
Oh, of course, it's her name. Wiley said that the explosion was at the Tarantula Industry site.
I know. I just got a call from my boss confirming it.
What boss? Who boss?
My boss at Tantalum, they need a representative on the site immediately. They hired me back.
That's great. Wouldn't they send Salmonella?
Samantha. Her name is Samantha. I don't know why they're not sending her. I have to get out there. I'll call you whenever I know anything.
Yazoo City Hall. This is Phoebe Jackson. Oh, hey, what? Really? It's Whitney. All this time, I thought, oh, no one else is here. So I'm trying to answer all the phones. Okay. What? Oh,
Blackout. Scene 4. An hour later, Phoebe is on the sofa of the sitting area. She jumps up as Henry dashes in from the street. He's wearing a hospital gown over his pants and carrying his shirt. Electrodes are stuck to his chest from an EKG machine.
Phoebe, I got here as fast as I could.
I haven't really forgiven you. Didn't know who else to call.
Well, I'm so glad you did.
Henry, why do you look like one of those electric cars in search of a charging station?
Now, I was at the cardiologist getting some tests done.
Oh, no.
No, I think it's all fine. I just had to be sure. After what happened to Harley, but I ran out of the office as soon as I got your message. What happened?
Oh, Henry, it's all very frightening. There was an explosion over at the tampon industry site. Did you hear it?
I did. I thought it was the old cotton gin that had finally given out and gone up. I guess it wasn't that.
No, but it gets worse. I got a call from Henry. Do you need to put your shirt back on? I don't want you getting shouted out.
Oh, yes. How embarrassing.
Henry turns his back to Phoebe and takes off the gown. We see a heart tattoo on his shoulder blade with Phoebe written in it.
Henry, what's that on your back?
Oh, what? Is that one of those electrodes back there? I can't seem to get.
Well, yes, there is that too. Here, can I help you get it off?
Yes, please. Could you?
Phoebe rips the electrode off Henry.
Oh my God, that hurt. Am I bleeding?
No, sorry. I thought it'd come off easier. Can I get the other ones?
No. I'll get them later.
What's that on your shoulder? Is it a tattoo? Do you have a tattoo?
Oh, yes. Well, it's
Let me see. It says Phoebe. Is that me? Do you have my name tattooed on your shoulder?
It was just something I got in college, Phoebe. We need to talk about what happened.
All right, the explosion.
No, I meant
there was an explosion at the tampon industry site.
You said that, but I think it's Tantalum.
Well, whatever. There are people who say they saw a terrorist out there right before it happened.
A terrorist? How do they know it was a terrorist? What does a terrorist look like?
I don't know, Henry. I didn't see the terrorist. How would I know what one looks like?
But listen, I'm sure there's no need to panic. But maybe it wasn't a terrorist at all. Maybe it's just a piano teacher or an exterminator or even a dental student, all of which in their own right can be very terrifying.
What if there are more of them?
Piano teachers rarely travel in packs.
No. What if this really was an actual terrorist attack and there are more targets? maybe even in this building.
City Hall? Why would a terrorist target City Hall? It's rare that anyone actually works here.
I don't know. Why would a terrorist target that plant out there?
That's a good question. Who hates what they're doing that much, despite what they stand for, and enough to do this kind of damage? Who would just fly off the handle and impulsively do something so outrageously stupid?
Phoebe and Henry stand and stare at each other, both thinking the same wrong thought. The phone on Miss Jo's desk rings. Phoebe crosses to answer it.
Yazoo City Hall, this is Phoebe Jackson. Oh, hey, Wendy. Whitney. Dang it. Why can't I get that? They did. Really? Oh, he did. Really? Wow. Oh, no, of course. You know what else you hear? Thanks, Whitney. Whitney. Damn it. Henry. They caught the terrorist. It was a woman. Alex did it.
Alex? Alex is a woman? And he blew up? I mean, she blew up Tantaloo?
No. Alex is the one who caught the terrorist, who blew up the plant. And the person he caught is a woman.
Oh. Was it, did they say, was it a...
Alex bursts in from the street.
What a mess. A muddy, mucky, nasty mess.
Alex, are you okay? I heard you captured the terrorist.
Terrorist? There's a terrorist?
Isn't that who blew up the plant?
We heard it was a woman terrorist.
I'm sure some think that, especially people who know her personally, but I don't think you can call this actual terrorism. It was more a crime of passion.
I knew one day her temper was going to get her into some trouble that she wasn't going to be able to get out of.
What was Joe even thinking?
Miss Joe? I don't know, but probably thinking that she was doing something good to save people. But she, I have to tell you this because I don't know. It's still a crazy mess down there, but she, how can I?
You only hurt the ones you love. It's not supposed to be a call to action.
I need to tell you, though, that she was so brave.
I just don't understand this rush to violence. People are continuing to get really hurt. And worse than that, just getting hurt.
That's dead on.
You said dead. I didn't want to say dead. Alex, are people dead? Do you know?
I don't know that yet. The plant site is a total loss for sure. The doing head counts, making sure everyone is accounted for. I suppose it was fortunate that Samantha gave some warning of what was about to happen.
Well, thank goodness. I'm sure everyone at Pantaloon Industries will be extremely grateful to her that the resources of humans was saved.
If everyone is okay, then definitely there's that to be thankful for. But I don't see how Pantaloon Industries is going to be all happy about the rest of this disaster. I don't know what she was thinking.
Does anyone ever know what Joe is thinking?
Joe?
She's not going to be able to talk her way out of this one.
About Miss Joe, I need to tell you once again. Okay,
I don't even want to know what she has to say about this. It's just terrible.
There's just no way to explain how it could possibly have even happened.
Well, actually, I think there is. If you just let me explain.
That Samantha was there, thank God.
I'm thankful that you were able to catch her and that she'll have to pay for these crimes against all of us.
Yes, she will. But Miss Joe will have to go to the...
I hate even saying these things about my sister. After what she's done, even before all this.
Stop. Just stop. Hold up. Do you think it was Miss Joe who's responsible for blowing up the Pantaloon site? That she did this?
Yes, that's what you said.
Wesley Miller over at the sheriff's office said that too.
Whitney.
Right. Whitney Miller over at the sheriff's office.
Said what? What did Whitney Miller say? Because I've never said that Miss Joe was in any way responsible for any of this.
Well, she said that they saw Joe wearing her new suit and running towards the plant. And that let me see, that Samantha Norman was there and running too, I think.
You said, and I remember this sort of clearly, that this woman that you caught, anyone who knew her would think she's a terrorist. A high percentage of the time, that's Miss Josephine Jackson in a nutshell.
I'll be the first to admit that Miss Joe can be a flawed individual, but she's not mean-spirited or intent on harming anything or anyone for any reason.
She broke your arm.
Except that one time.
Well, am I understanding then that Joe isn't the woman terrorist who attacked the plant? That's not who you caught?
No, she's not. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
What is it? Samantha.
Yes, Samantha Norman.
You're kidding.
I'm shocked.
It is shocking, but I'm not kidding.
This right here. This is why Southerners do not like Yankees.
Wait, what?
The blatant lack of decent manners. As a guest in someone else's town, you don't blow things up. Raises their kids like that. God-fearing Southerners do not.
Okay, I'm not going to debate that right now, but Miss Joe didn't do anything to hurt anyone. Samantha did.
Then where's Joe?
But that's what I've been trying to tell you. I don't know. We don't know. She was seen running into the plant.
You sure it was Joe? Running?
Of course it was Miss Joe. Who else do you know would dress up in a nude costume? Only Miss Joe.
Okay, but she was running? I think I saw her in an awkward gallop one time when it was raining and she had this new leather purse and she didn't want to get wet. But even then, it wasn't running. Was it kind of like this?
I don't know. I didn't actually see it myself.
That seems more like a canter than a gallop.
Whatever it was her. After the first explosion, she ran, galloped, cantered, trotted, whatever, into the plane to try to help get people out.
Joe did that? He was trying to save people?
Yes, except then there was a secondary explosion.
Maybe that was the cotton gin.
I don't know what caused it, but Miss Joe was inside when it happened.
It happened when she was inside?
Yes, and she didn't come out.
She didn't come out before you left? Is that what you mean?
Right. See, you just didn't see her come out.
She came out after you weren't there anymore.
That's when she came out.
After you'd left.
She came out.
Maybe, no, I don't know.
Are you saying something might have happened to Joe? Is that what you're saying?
Do you mean that Joe might have maybe gotten hurt in some way?
Joe might not be okay.
Joe's dead?
Maybe.
Joe's dead?
Maybe. No, I don't know. The police sealed off the area and I had to leave.
Joe's dead? She died? Joe's not living? Joe's gone? She departed? Oh, Henry.
Oh, Phoebe first, Harley, now Joe.
My sister. Oh, Joe.
How is this possible?
I'm so sorry, but we don't know for sure.
We weren't speaking. The last time I saw her, I was really mad at her. Oh, Joe. I was so angry with her. But I didn't get to make it right with my sister. And now, hey.
Well, we can make some things right, Phoebe. We need to talk about
sisters. No.
But there's a few issues that aren't gone.
There's no Joe.
Oh, okay, fine. You're right. We'll straighten out the other stuff later.
Henry hugs Phoebe as Samantha bursts in the door. She's dressed completely in camo with military boots and belt. She keeps her hand on the weapon that's holstered, wild-eyed, sees Henry and Phoebe embracing and softens.
Oh, you two. Look at you. That's amazing.
Samantha, what are you doing here?
Alex, I knew you'd wait for me here.
Wait for you? I thought you were in custody.
I was. That's why it took me so long.
You blew up the Tantalum Industry site?
Excuse me, butt out. We're obviously having a moment here.
I would not say that. This is not a moment.
You should be in jail.
Look, pal, who died and put you in charge?
Well, Mayor Tibbetts died, and he was the one that was...
Tidbits. Wasn't in charge even before that. No one has ever been in charge around here, except me. I'm taking charge now.
So we appreciate that offer, Arantha. But honestly, we're probably okay with how things are going overall. Today isn't really going great, but overall,
it's Samantha. My name is Samantha. It's not that hard.
I get nervous.
Sometimes I get a little gassy when I'm nervous.
That happens to me too sometimes. I must have inherited it. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Oh, wondered what that was.
Stop it! All of you, just stop that. You two, over there on the couch.
What? Is that a drill?
The couch.
Samantha, what's this all about?
Alex, sweetheart, I know it's been a little off script, unusual, maybe not how we planned for this whole relationship to get started, but...
Nothing started.
It's getting started.
It never started.
It will.
I think that's just a power drill.
It won't. I don't know where you got this in your head that there was something between us.
Of course there is. We make such a cute couple. What do you think? We're so cute together, right?
I mean, it depends on what you think is cute.
Obviously, you're both very nice looking, young people, but...
See, even Mr. Tidbit's here. Your very own father thinks we should be together.
No, wait. I didn't say... Really, you can't be serious.
Look, this is flattering and all, but
we're perfect. We have tons in common.
We really don't.
We both love Thai food.
I broke out in hives last time, so I never eat Thai food.
All she has is a cordless power drill.
We go to the same gym.
After I got athlete's foot, I don't go there anymore.
All things considering the ability to tighten a screw.
We both dress amazingly well and we have a super hip vibe.
Well, that's true, but that's hardly anything to build a relationship on.
We both hate Tantalum Industries for torpedoing our careers by firing us.
You got fired?
Yes! So dumb, but yes!
That definitely needed to happen.
That's why they lost their stupid plat, because they're losers. Losers lose.
You did that because you got fired?
Yes, now we've both been fired.
He got hired back.
You what?
And promoted.
You what?
With a raise and an apology.
That's great, Alex. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's all it took? They toss you some measly pittance and you go crawling back to them on your belly?
If a stable job, noticeable more money, an upgrade position, and a sincere, we're sorry for the whole firing you thing, it was a mistake on our part, is considered a measly pittance, then yes, I'm here for it.
I thought you were so much better than that.
Honestly, I'm really not.
No, you're not. You're just a loser too. A miserable loser, Alex, just like they are. A miserable, pathetic loser.
That's not very nice.
Shut up, Phoebe. You're nothing more than a 25-watt bulb yourself.
Hey.
You can't talk to her like that.
Oh, can I? What are we going to do about it? Because you're a loser, Alex. Alex taking the ultimate L in a mafia sent shoes swim in the fishes kind of way.
You're already in a whole lot of trouble, Samantha. Don't make it any worse by doing something you'll regret.
Regret? I regret nothing. Absolutely nothing. Say your goodbyes, Alex Halderson.
Miss Joe bursts through the door. She is wearing the new costume, but is looking a little charred and black around the edges.
Oh, no, you don't.
Joe, you're alive.
Wrestling match ensues with everyone piling on, yelling, tussling, trying to seduce Samantha.
Got a drill.
Careful, watch out for the door. She's got a drill.
Somebody call the police.
And fade to black. Scene 5. Lights up. 2 days later, Henry is against the wall, next to the door to the street. He keeps peeking out the window looking for Phoebe. When she walks by, he opens the door and pulls her in. Her wrist is wrapped in an ace bandage.
My God. I thought I was kidnapped.
Sorry, Phoebe, but I need to talk to you.
You could just call me. You don't have to abduct me off the street.
I did call you. You're not answering your phone call.
I'm not answering anyone's phone calls. I lost my phone. You know, maybe I lost it here in that scuffle. I should look for it.
I can help you look for it. But we have to talk first, Phoebe.
If I can find a phone, then you can just call me. I promise I'll answer.
You're right here. I don't need to call you.
Then you're freed up to help me find the phone.
Fine. Maybe it went under the couch. Do you want me to check?
Oh, that'd be great, Henry.
Phoebe, we need to talk about what happened. I'm not seeing your phone. I mean, about Joe and Alex.
Henry, what's to talk about? You admitted she had a baby, and Alex is that baby.
But I'm not Alex's father, Phoebe.
But the 20 B's knees thing says you are.
It's 23andMe. And it says that Harley is Alex's father.
I know how babies are made, Henry. So unless this is a miraculous role reversal twist on the Christmas story, how can that be possible? Harley wasn't there. You were.
Harley was home. I was at Mississippi State.
No, you were at home. I was at Mississippi State.
Harley came home so I could go to Mississippi State.
Now, why would Harley be home if you were home? And why would you be at Mississippi State?
Miss Joe enters from the street.
Harley was home so I could come find you at Mississippi State.
Why, Henry? Why would you do that?
Well, I'd gotten the tattoo of your name and a heart on my shoulder. I wanted to show it to you on Valentine's Day. Harley came home to be with Mom, and so I could drive all that way out to see you.
I didn't see you.
You didn't want to see me.
I don't always want to see you.
Your roommate said you didn't want to see me, that you'd been dating a veterinarian science major and didn't know how to tell me. It was very serious because he'd already given you a goat.
Oh, I love goats.
I know that. So I left. The pieces of my shattered heart in my hands and swore I'd never go back to the Yazoo because I couldn't bear not seeing you. happy with another man's goat.
Henry, I don't have a goat or another man. Henry, I didn't even have a roommate.
You don't? No goat?
No goat, no man, no roommate. I honestly don't know who told you that.
Your roommate in the dorm. I went to your dorm room.
Henry, I'd moved out of the dorm at the beginning of that semester because I couldn't live with her anymore. The chicken bones, the hemlock, and all those little lifelike dolls. How does me not having a goat mean that you don't have a son?
It's what I'm telling you, Phoebe. Joe thought it was me that night, but it was Harley. I was looking for you, and he was with her.
It was Harley?
It was Harley.
Oh, Joe!
It was Harley that night?
It was Harley.
Oh, God.
Miss Joe is about to faint and black out. Scene 5. Lights up 2 days later. Alex enters with a small box with a bow and puts it on Miss Joe's desk. He starts to write a note on a scratch pad, which is challenging with his arm still in a cast. Miss Joe enters from the hall.
Alex.
Oh, you're here. I was just leaving. A note for you.
Okay.
As an apology for how I reacted about all of this.
Oh, that's absolutely not necessary, but I appreciate the apology. Emotions can sometimes run high.
I got you this. As an olive branch and the hope that we can try this again.
Of course. But you certainly didn't need to do this.
It's a scarf with newts on it. They sell them at the chamber. I figured you probably couldn't have too many.
Some things you can just never have enough of. Oh, Alex.
She opens her arms and they hug the best they can.
It's been a lot to process these past couple of days.
For all of us.
But it's all going to be all right. Okay, I have to run back by the end. I forgot my laptop, but I'll see you later. Mom?
They're not shy, but they won't fly. The whole Yazoo goes in. Yazoo River, we get loose.
Phoebe enters with a basket of muffins, wearing a sundress with a light sweater over it. She has her left wrist in a brace.
Hey there, Joey. Bought by some muffins.
These. Oh, thank you. Thank you for these.
Oh, now, it's no real thing.
It is. And so are you. Thank you for being you. How's your wrist?
Well, I got this accessory yesterday, so it'll be great in 4 to 6 weeks. I thought about getting my bedazzler out and adding some bling to it.
Maybe I should have you do that to mine too.
Well, I thought the bling would match my other new bling.
Maybe. Is that what I think it is?
Well, if you think it's an engagement ring, then yes, it absolutely is what you think it is.
Oh, Phoebe, Henry, I'm so happy for you both.
Miss Joe grabs them both in a big hug that strangles Phoebe.
Joe, breathe. Hey, breathe.
Right. Sorry about that. I'm just so excited for you too.
It's been a long time coming. But sometimes love is so permanently embedded in your heart.
And on your shoulder. Got this name tattooed on mine.
You got a tattoo? When did you get a tattoo?
Yesterday. It really hurt a lot.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. And it's supposed to say Henry.
Of course it is. That's what it say.
Phoebe, honey, I'm not sure, but I think they spelled it wrong.
Well, what does it say?
Emily.
Oh no, it's terrible.
No, now it's not as bad as all that.
But it is.
It's perfect, Phoebe. You're perfect.
You are perfect, Phoebe. That you can still love me when I haven't been anywhere close to perfect is so much more than I deserve.
Yeah, you should have told me your secret. I would have been there for you.
I only told Auntie Maud, who let me stay through the pregnancy. Otherwise, I never told anyone, not a single soul.
Harley never said anything either. That anything had ever happened between you two.
It was very brief, surprisingly brief. And now that I think back on it, he may have also missed health class too.
You were remarkably stupid and incredibly brave. Then and now.
That describes a lot of heroes.
Miss Jo hugs Phoebe, accidentally hitting her tender tattoo.
Oh, no, it's okay.
They hug this time more carefully.
We better get along, Phoebe.
There's a lot to do to catch up after all those national news folks were here about the explosion and Sahara's arrest.
I bet they'll be back for Samantha's trial.
Well, everyone's pretty much checked out now, except that adorable gal from CNBC. Last I saw her, she and Alex were cat poodling in the breakfast room.
Do you mean canoodling?
Cat poodling?
Well, whatever it is, they were pretty cute together. All right, we'll see you later.
Henry and Phoebe exit hand in hand.
Cat poodling. Oh, city boy, pretty boy. Look at that now, he's my boy. Use his wits to stop that ditz. That snappy happy. Oh, hey, you're back. Phoebe just dropped off some muffins, and there's some oat milk by the coffee.
But look at that. Yazoo getting dragged from the backwaters into the current century.
What do you hear about the plans for the Tantalum industry site? Have they decided what they're going to do yet?
What I've heard, and these are just preliminary reports, is that they're planning to rebuild, start over from scratch. Assessment team is at the site already.
I was afraid you'd say that.
But it's honestly not the worst thing that can happen. Think of the industry and the boost to the economy.
I like Yazoo the way it is. In this office, though, some changes have to come. We've got to get someone new in here as acting mayor.
Well, can someone on the city council step up into the job?
They all could.
Okay.
They all won't.
Alex's cell phone rings.
Just 1 minute. I got to get this. Alex Halderson. Yes, good morning, sir. Oh. They did? Yes, of course, that definitely changes everything. Well, I mean, I can certainly still. Oh. What? You've got to be kidding me. No. Oh, I understand. Right. Thank you. Bye.
Is everything okay?
I don't believe it. How does this keep happening?
Believe what? How does what?
This is so ridiculous. I just got fired again.
What the what? Why?
Tantalum Industries is announcing later today that they're mothballing all of their plans for expansion in Yazoo. They're not building the plant. I just got laid off.
Yes. I mean, oh no. No, that's terrible. Really terrible for you. Why they changed their minds?
The environmental team assessing the site after the explosion found something.
Grubble?
A problem.
What problem?
Environmental problem.
Radon?
Much worse than that. I say that modest mostly because I don't know what radon actually is.
I don't either.
It's hellbenders.
What the hell, Benders?
You know, hellbenders.
I know some hell raisers, but what are hell benders?
Salamander.
Slimy newts.
They found salamanders.
Of course they did. The Yazoo River runs right past there. They probably found turtles, frogs, snakes, snails.
No. On the site, they found hellbenders, endangered salamanders.
Oh, they're endangered. Do they have wings?
I'm not kidding. Their natural habitat is protected. You can't build anything there.
No wings.
No wings, no plant, no job.
Henry enters. He's carrying Harley's mare sash.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Alex.
I didn't expect to see you back so soon. Where's Phoebe?
Oh, she had to get back to the inn. We stopped to see Harley's widow, Teresa Ann, to show her the ring and all.
Oh, well, congratulations again on the engagement, Henry. Really happy for y'all.
Yes, thanks. She gave me this. I thought you might want to keep it over here. It just seems that the sash belongs here for the next mayor to wear.
All we need now, though, is a new mayor. Yes, a new mayor.
Really? A new mayor?
A new mayor that's available to start immediately.
Really?
Someone who's personable and smart.
Okay, exactly.
Smart, but not smart enough to not take the job.
Now, listen, I'm not getting tangled up in this web. And I promised Phoebe I'd be right over. I got to run. I'll see you all both later.
What's this?
Just the opportunity you need.
Opportunity? Whoa, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
You need a job? We need a mayor.
I can't be mayor.
Sure you can. Of course you can.
Emily bounces in from the street. She's happy and perky, but not stupid, wearing a CNBC Press t-shirt.
Oh my gosh, Alex. Are you the mayor here? You didn't tell me that.
And Emily, I don't know.
So humble, he never brags.
I totally love that, Alex. Like, that is the sexiest thing ever.
Really? You think so?
Like ever.
Oh God, absolutely.
I'll do it.
You will?
Everyone will stand and clap. just because they hear that flap.
Of those Yazoo.
Who's who?
Yazoo River, we
get news.
Fade to black. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the play. And we thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us today for Yazoo, Mississippi by Jean Chiampi and directed by Byron C. Saunders, featuring Adrienne Carlotta, Jon Hayden, Odyssues Bailer, Greta Glenn, Amy Hui, Theophania Darnice, and I'm Kimberly Gunn with Zoomcatchers. Before we get into our moderated critique session, I know there's going to be a lot to say about this play. We'd like to tell you about what's coming up. And Garland, I invite Garland Thompson Jr., Executive Artistic Director of the Frank Silvera Writers Workshop, to the stage. Take it away, Garland.
Thank you, Kimberly. And thank you to our cast and our director of Yazoo, Mississippi, and of course our playwright, Jean Chiampi. Thank you very much. A quick commercial here. We've got one of the things that we're also doing in addition to readings, we've introduced this recently, is our new, what I like to call our new division, FSWW Online. And that is an area where we are actually doing now online classes. So we just completed a class with Professor Vera Katz, Professor Emeritus Vera Katz from Howard University. That was What Makes a Good Play. We've got coming up in May an acting class for all you actors led by Allison Mills Newman. This is the Allison Mills Newman Master Class of Acting. Allison is an actor, a director. She is also a playwright and a novelist. And she also studied back in the 1960s with our namesake, Frank Silvera. She was with him during his years when he had the Theater of Being. She's also known as the very first black actress to gain a regular recurring role on a nationally syndicated television series back in the day, and that show was Julia. She's got a wonderful approach towards acting, and she's also going to be teaching things that she learned from Frank Silvera himself. So that class is going to be starting, so you can go to that. You can find out about that if you go to, we'll put the link in the chat. It's FSWW. If you go to our website, the fsww.org, you'll be able to find the links to that class. And we also have some others coming up this summer in screenwriting and playwriting with some very magnificent writers. So we look forward to seeing there. If you know anybody that you think might benefit from these courses, please forward their information.
Great. Thank you so much. And one more announcement. If Byron, I know Byron's here, if you can tell our wonderful audience how they can best support the arts and about our fundraiser. Take it away, Byron.
All right. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today for this amazingly funny farce, Yazoo, Mississippi. But how do you support the Frank Silvera Writers Workshop, who's celebrating its 50th anniversary this year? It's so easy. In the corner of your box there, it says fundraising, donations by pledge. That's for you to make that pledge right now. So give from your heart. Make it a wonderful donation as we are attempting to raise $50,000 for our 50th anniversary, and you can make it happen by making your pledge today. It's so easy. You go to www.thefsww.org, and that's as simple as that. You can make it. Now, for 50 years, we've been doing this, giving birth to new plays. Back when we were in Harlem, up on 125th Street, above a tennis shoe store, every Monday, we'd have a reading. And yes, all of the great actors that used to come and you've been enjoying, from Ozzy and Ruby to you name it, they all would come to the workshop and do these readings and giving birth to the American classic theater, coming to enjoy all the shows that you have appreciated for the last 50 plus years. And we are still doing it. And we won an Obie Award. In my first time coming out of Atlanta to be the new executive director, stepping in after Karen Baxter left. Well, on my watch, we won the Obie Award for playwriting development. We've been doing this for 50 years, ladies and gentlemen, and now we have stepped it up into the 21st century, where Kimberly Gunn and Zoomcatchers and Garland is embracing the new technology and giving you something so extra special. And this is how we do it, with your support. So don't be shy. Open up that wallet. Thank you. I see you making that pledge right now. We appreciate that. We got a target, y'all. Keep helping us make that target happen. Thank you so very much for being a part of this. And I'm going to turn it back over to Garland and Kimberly as we get to the Q&A, and thank our amazing cast and playwright. This was a lot of fun putting this together. Yazoo, Mississippi, and Jean Chiampi, you've witnessed such a wonderful opportunity for us to enjoy a little piece of America as we celebrate each other and why we love being in this part of the world, producing and bringing to you new plays for the American theater stage. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so much, Byron. And so now we're going to get into our moderated critique session. Garland Thompson is going to be moderating this critique session. Please feel free to put any comments into the chat, or you can also use the Q&A function at the bottom of the toolbar there. And I'm going to hand it over to Garland. Take it away, Garland.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Once again, thank you to our wonderful cast today. Thank you to Byron for that lovely message about fundraising there. And thank you also to Byron for directing today's reading. And thank you to Jean Chiampi for writing this piece, taking the time to write this piece, get these words down on the page so that they can get out onto the stage, as Dad was fond of saying. For the next 30 or 40 minutes or so, depending on how the conversation goes, we're basically going to have what we call is a moderated critique session. So I'm your moderator for this session. And what we're here to do is to explore what we just saw, explore this piece. So I'm going to ask you to put your critical thinking hats on. Now, of course, we're looking for constructive criticism or any thoughts in general, actually, about the piece, what stood out to you, what didn't, characters that worked for you, parts of the plot, the theme, how everything was sort of working together, if there are certain parts that you thought worked, were stronger, or certain parts that maybe could use a little shoring up. That's what we're trying to find out here. So we're looking for honest, always respectful, but we're looking to give this playwright an opportunity to hear from you, the audience, people who don't know her, who have no dog in this race other than being an audience member wanting to hear a good story, and to get some feedback from you. So this isn't really a situation here where it's 20 questions. We're interviewing Jean about why she did this, why she wrote that, and all of that. This is a chance for her to listen to you and to take notes, which she's then going to take back as she continues to develop this piece. So that's what we're here to do. That said, let's go ahead and get started. It looks like we've got some messages here. Also, we've got some questions too. Jean has some questions for both the actors and the audience here. Our actors, you guys can stay as long as you like, but we definitely want to hear from you. We want to hear from everybody, basically. If you want to speak on the microphone, we can bring you up. Just click the raise hand function, which is down at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and you'll come on up. Kimberly will put you into the chat, and we will hear from you. We love hearing people's voices, so please jump on in. With that said, let's go ahead and get started here. I see we've got a couple of comments. Well, first of all, thank you. Valerie Myers says to the host and the panelists, what a fabulous cast. So there you are. Thank you, Valerie. So glad that you're here. Jermaine Shames, one of our playwrights whose piece we read in the last few months and who will be coming back with a rewritten script. Jermaine Shames says, thank you, everyone. Felt good to share a laugh with friends. All right, so that's good. That's a good piece of feedback there for you, Jean, because you know she's the first thing out of the gate is talking about the laughs, being able to share a laugh, and that's I know from talking to Jean, that's part of her reasoning for doing this in the first place, to get some more laughter in the world. It's a crazy world out there right now, especially with everything that's going on. We need more laughter. Valerie has said, oh, Valerie has jumped back into the chat. Let's see. She says, I love the way Jean always writes for normal and believable banter between the characters she creates. I did feel a little more backstory between Samantha and Alex as to why she felt there was a connection to him. That's a really good point, Valerie. That's something that I felt as well. I think there's a little more fleshing out of that. It doesn't have to be huge, but a little more something for us to know why Samantha is so kind of crazed, if you will, about Alex. What was going on there? Because clearly something happened. It's alluded to, something happened, but we don't really get a lot of detail. Specificity, and that's a great point, Valerie, specificity always helps with things like this. You know, it doesn't have to be long 4-page monologues, but a little bit more specificity helps so people understand more or have a more of a clue as to the character's motivations. That's a good one. Thank you, Valerie.
We do have a question from Ivory Toussaint. What inspired you to write this play and relate it to the Newts?
Okay. Jean is, yeah, feel free to answer that. And if there's any questions in the course of the conversation, feel free to answer.
Actually, what inspired me to write this play is that I had a son graduating from college that was getting a degree in conservation science. And at the same time, my husband was working for one of the world's largest chemical plants. So, and I grew up, my father was the district chief for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So there was a lot of influences from a lot of different directions, and they sort of all collided in Yazoo.
That's quite a place for it to all collide in, too, when you think about it. There is so much going on in this piece. There's so much going on. It's a lot of things happening here. And it's interesting to see how you've intertwined it all, right? But again, backstory helps where you can get into giving us information. How do people feel about the characters? Since Valerie opened up the question about characters, I'd love to hear from the audience. Anyone out there, what you felt about the characters Jean has created. And actors, feel free to jump in on any of these as well, since you all had the job, the wonderful job, which y'all did a great job of saying these words, having these words come out of you. So feel free to jump in and let us know if you have any thoughts about that.
And Jean does have some specific questions for the actors. How did the roles feel for you? That's one of her questions, actors.
So let's start with that. Actors. Adrienne Carlotta.
Hey, yes. First of all, thank you so much. I am Jean, Byron, Kim, everybody, the cast and crew. I really enjoyed playing this character because there was so much depth. And so, initially reading it, it's a farce. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be, comedic and this, that, and the other. And then when I started really reading it and understanding the character, I'm like, man, she cares about the environment. She's, ready to, protest, do whatever it takes. And she also has a backstory, of that leads into forgiveness and all these underlying themes. I thought it was really well put together. To get that in all of those elements in there, and it felt very natural to read. So yes, so that was my feedback. Very nice.
Excellent. Thank you, Adrienne. So, all right. So we got some good character development. I mean, certainly, Joe, there was a lot going on there, and it's very interesting. A lot of issues, touching on teenage pregnancy, the possible rape or abuse that was going on back there, and a young woman trying to save herself, but yet kind of flipping it around in her mind because of the alcohol and etc. So that's very interesting. Okay, great, thank you. I see Alicia Foxworth, who works with us. Hi, Alicia. Alicia is our social media director for the Frank Silvera Writes Workshop, and also a great playwright herself, who has Brownstone Steps Entertainment, and she produces festivals and readings all over the place in the New York area. She says, I didn't buy the whole Mississippi story. He just wanted his girl back. LOL, lots of laughs. Okay, so there's an interesting thought. Okay, so that might be something to look at. Alicia, if you can give us a little bit more on that, so we can be a little clearer, that'd be great. We'll do one more comment, and then John has got his hand up. I think Amanda and I Luchart. Amanda says, I think there really is no backstory to Alex and Samantha. She was just delusional which was indicated by the explanation of her firing. That was the backstory, in my opinion. Okay. Okay, so that was working for you. So that was clear in terms of, and that sounds like the character development was strong with Samantha, and that was her point of view. So that's what you got. Okay, so there's a couple of different opinions on that. Jon Hayden has raised his hand. John, let's hear from John.
Hey, Garland.
Hey,
Thank you
John.
so much. It's been my pleasure over the last 40 years to work with the Frank Silvera Writers Workshop and your father's creation, and with Byron Saunders. I maybe 15 different projects in that span of time. There's some gaps in between, but now we're back with this Zoom, and I'm so proud and happy to be a part of bringing Jean's comedy to light. It's when I first read the script, I just laughed like crazy out of my chair, and I saw Harlan and Henry as identical twins that got into some mischief in high school, and as we all did, I think, and the hijinks that came out of it were lifelong. Things that they couldn't change. It happened in one evening, and I think most teenagers have had an experience like that, and I was happy to play the mayor, and also play the mayor's brother, and so I tried to differentiate. Henry had gone off to like a big city and become his own man, but still had the gnawing effects of what had happened way back when. And so it was great, with Phoebe and Joe as well. They are having the same situation. Byron and I talked about it has a mistaken identity of some Shakespearean plays like Comedy of Errors, Much Ado, other things that maybe Jean might have thought of when she was putting it together, but brilliant, and so happy to be a part of this. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for listening and tuning in, and thank you.
Right on. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, Gina's got the twins in here. So, and I believe we do have two sets of twins now. Because Samantha, there's another character that comes in at the end. Now, that's always fun. Twins are always fun to play with, as Shakespeare has proven. So that can be a very interesting device right there. Let's see. Jermaine is saying that, let's see here. First of all, Tracy Noble agreed with Amanda. I'm going from the chat room here. Jermaine is saying, I found the North-South divide interesting and amusingly presented. Okay, so there was that going on there too. The difference in attitudes, urban and rural, North and South, that whole thing. So that was for Jermaine portrayed very nicely. Tracy Noble says the Phoebe character's hilarious mispronunciation of names and places added a lot of comedy to the mix, added a lot of humor to the dialogue. Malapropisms are always fun. Always fun. People getting stuff wrong like that and mixing it up, and even in the height of some tense moment and what have you. Yeah, no, that's always a fun device. And I think, Jean, you did that pretty well here.
Thank you.
Right? You're welcome. You're welcome. How do you feel about that, having heard it?
It's when you can finally have the characters have voices that aren't in your head. It always gives it a whole brand new dimension. So I'm so grateful to have had this group bring these characters to life, even kind of two-dimensionally here in the screen. So a big help.
Excellent. Well, that is what we're here to do, is to help you. hear this and develop it. It's very, there's a lot going on. And the one thing I think one needs to be careful when one is putting together something is that everything kind of links up, right? And we don't, because sometimes plot, story-wise, if there's too much going on, it becomes kind of like Phil Spector's wall of sound, right? And it becomes a little hard to remember, okay, wait a minute, what was happening with that? What was happening there? What was going on there? So sometimes you're doing a pretty good job of it, I think, here with this. But there is a lot going on here. Byron's got his hand up. Byron, what have you got to say?
I want to say the one thing that I found interesting to bring out even the comedy even more was to do creative casting.
Mm-hmm.
And because a city like Yazoo, it's only 26,000 people, everybody knows each other. And yes, things can happen relative to the relationships, obviously in a southern town post-Civil War and all that. But guess what? If you go back in Mississippi right now, even in places like as big as Jackson and a little town like Yazoo, there you'll find that the relationships are even more profound because now they not only know each other, they know of each other's past and things that they were involved in as kids, but the opportunity for them to become good neighbors to each other, working with each other, building a city that is, yes, they want to grow and become a major population like Jackson, which is nearby because that's the capital, but still maintain their small town flavor, like going to Mayberry. And in Mayberry, we're in Jackson and now in Yazoo, in this small town, you got the Black folks and the white folks who know each other. And yes, dating a twin can be hilarious no matter what color. You can change and flip all these around because ultimately it's about the comedy of errors and about being humans and realizing we have more in common than we don't have. And what we have more in common is the love, fellowship, community, and joy and happiness. And they're each trying to find that space in this small town and feeling imposed by corporate America, who just wants to come in and take their resources, and then not realizing the ecology of the area. That's the unknown character, the ecology, because the ecology is also being impacted. And yes, the newts that don't fly are just as important as the people who are living there. And if you've ever gone to the South, even like in places like New Orleans, you'll find the crawdads crossing the street on major highways because it's part of their ecology. And you do stop. You don't roll over them. You just let them go cross the street because that's part of the swallows will always come back to Capistrano. This pink salmon will always swim upstream. But it's going to happen because this is what this country, our beautiful country, has in store for all of us if we just stop and recognize each other as human beings. And that's what this story is really all about. So Jean has really done a great job of bringing those elements together in a harmonious way. And of course, making us all laugh about ourselves and how we live and look at life together.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Byron. I also wanted to just put out a question from someone who put something in the Q&A. Where did the love stories come from?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
The question is, where did the love stories come from?
I'm a sucker for a love story, so I mean, there always has to be a love story, and so I think, and I love older actors, so finding a love story with an actor or a character that's over 40, over 50, I think is important. So I think all my plays are always going to have a good love story at the heart of it.
That's okay. That's okay. Again, that's a great it's something that we all can relate to in one form or another. So, the question here though is how is it leads us kind of into plot, because that's a part of the plot. There are plots going on here. So we had one plot line, which is the Alex coming in, working for Tantalum Industries, them building the plant, and possible resistance to it in the town, though we're not exactly sure because we only hear from Joe about that. So we're not exactly sure how the rest of the town feels about it, though the mayor does present somewhat of a little bit of a different view when they have a conversation about it, right? So then you've got the plot of the love stories, right? Then you've also got the other plot of which dovetails, which is connected to the love stories, which is of Alex, the adopted child, and his family, and the whole 23andMe thing. So there is once again, there's a lot going on there, and that's great, but it has to be woven in such a way that we're able to keep up with it all, right? And on that point, Amanda agrees. Amanda says a lot going on indeed. We didn't even see the physical attacks or the mud. Which is that's something that a creative team might want to take on in some kind of way. Byron's wisdom always sheds light and uplifts, from Jermaine. Thank you. George Lyles has an interesting comment here, or I'm not sure if it's George, but perhaps George's wife. My husband was born and raised in Yazoo City, Mississippi. We both enjoyed the play, but his question is there a reason behind not referring Yazoo to its actual name, Yazoo City? Right? Because that is also a big part of the plot. So
right, because Yazoo City is an actual honest to goodness place, and I would never want anyone in Yazoo to think that this is actually them.
Representative of them.
It's still in good fun.
Mhm.
So that kind of gives that little bit of separation.
I thought it was a good idea to do that. I thought, because for me, this is like an alternate universe kind of situation where because there is the real Yazoo City, and those are honest concerns too as a writer, right? Those are very honest concerns. But having it in Yazoo, so it sets it off just enough, right? Just enough so that we go, okay, this is not. And this isn't reality too, at least in the sense that what we're all experiencing every day, etc. I mean, things are woven into about it. But so I think that was a strong choice. I think that was good. Let's see, T. Let me just say T so I don't mess up T, your name. I will say this is hilarious. No matter how many times you see it, I hollered so many times off camera. So that's good. One thing I noticed, the lines, you have really great way with lines. You've got, there's some really, really funny lines in there that you had. I mean, I can't, think Miss Jo says a hotbed of hypertension, right? I mean, that's good. Alex, Luke Skywalker moment. Oh, but in a good way, right? No, this isn't like Darth Vader. This is good. This is right. So, that's like, and then I'm Simba, the one that stood, I'm Simba in The Lion King on repeat. I mean, these are great. These are great lines, and you related them very well, I thought, to the plot and what the characters were going through. They didn't feel forced to me. They felt just like, yeah, that's something that would be said in this alternate universe of Yazoo, Mississippi.
Garland, in a French door comedy, like in the Moliere or a Pirandello, you have, even in Shakespeare's Kiss Me Kate, which Taming of the Shrew, and the missed opportunities as they're coming in and going out. Physically on stage, this is like noise is off. This is as crazy a farce that you can imagine. Everybody moving. It's always the motion that's keeping the play in a constant driven direction. And And even when you think you might know what's about to happen, the reveal, having a young man come back, finding his roots, and then actually realizing who his mother is, that one moment where he can say, Mom, and then the mom experiencing something that every mother who's had to give up a child for whatever reason, and then wanting to know what happened, and then to realize this young man is a good young man. I'm so proud of him. And then the father, the revelation of the twins, and realizing that even in their family, this hidden secret was having to be revealed. And then everybody, Henry and Harley, both having heart attacks almost the same moment, and they find out the reveal of who's what and what's what. That's the basis of good comedy. And then when you have that coming together on a stage and actually visually kind of realizing it, if you could see all of this happening in motion, you will laugh at yourself because you've had those moments yourself when you've been in situations where irony just took over and you stopped to realize it was just funny. It made you laugh at yourself and laugh at the incident. And when you can retell it, it just becomes even a bigger story to tell because everybody wants to know, well, did you really think? Oh, you didn't. And like Phoebe just blown away by the fact that her one true love and the fact that he still loves her. Oh my God, what a great love story.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I do want to, let's see, an anonymous person put a comment in there. All of the arms and calves, exclamation mark. How did Joe get so strong and from carrying a secret for 33 years? So I don't know if you want to answer that, Jane.
Well, I mean, nobody can carry a secret better than a Southern woman.
Good point. Good point. Something that a lot of Northerners probably don't know. Right?
Even know they don't know.
Yes. I'd like to take a moment to also encourage folks. We love to hear your voice. So if you'd like to get on and we'd love to hear what you've got to say, just put your hand up and Kimberly will bring you onto the stage and allow you to unmute your microphone. So we love to hear you. We'd love to hear some folks' actual comments coming from them before we end our day here. Let's go back to some questions here that Jean had. Let's go with another actor's question at the moment. Actors, did you have trouble with any of the dialogue? In other words, did any phrases feel unnatural? What would y'all say? Let's I'm going to call on somebody. Amy, let's hear from you. How did you feel about Samantha had a lot of things to say?
Oh, yes. There were some phrases there that I had to get out and read while I was, acting and trying not to sound like I was reading, which made it a little challenging, but I loved all of it. It made so much sense because Samantha's character, she's very corporate and those were the words that she would say, It was challenging, but I mean, I loved all of it. It was fun.
Okay. So in general, it felt good to you, the dialogue, even though it was a little bit challenging, but in general, yes?
Oh, yes.
All right. Odysseus, let's hear from you, Mr. Halderson, Alex, our prodigal son who returns.
Yes. And to echo what everyone else says, thank you, Jean and Byron, for having me be a part of this reading. Greatly appreciate it. And you as well, Frank, for also having me back. The overall story, I like the overall story. What I liked about it was that it was simple. It wasn't too flashy. It wasn't too big. It was a story that you can see any person being in. Of any background, of any language type of situation, whether they're, living in the States or living in Europe somewhere or China, Japan. This is like a human story, going back to going to a smaller town, not realizing that you might have relatives there, and Alex, Alex' character was just your everyday person character, being someone that is adopted himself. So that whole section about not being mad or thinking about your birth parents and being mad at them for giving you up and stuff like that. I've actually had these conversations with people in real life, and everything that Alex said, I echo it, constantly. So when I got to that moment, I was like, oh yeah, I know how to play this because I say this normally. So and give it the weight that the important weight that that it needed to be given without rushing through it, obviously, and the backstory with Alex and Samantha, I kind of created a little backstory in my own head of why she's all infatuated with him. But maybe having, I mean, even if it's not even a scene in itself, but having just a small little moment of an explanation of why she's so infatuated with him, whether it's coming from Samantha or coming from the viewpoint of Alex. So it doesn't need to be this whole new scene or anything like that, because I feel like it would take away from what you have there. But just a little, hey, here's 2-3 lines of why this thing is this thing, and then move it on. So then everything else will oh, okay, now I know why this character's saying this and why she's reacting this way. So because we only got from this perspective, but all in all, I really loved the quick back and forth when Joe is kind of admitting what she did, and it's that quick, once again, human interest of back and forth, the quick interjections and stuff like that. I thought all of that played really well, because that's what normal human beings would do, and not robots. So all in all, it's a really good production. And I also too like the fact that it's I think this whole show really centers around Phoebe and Henry at the end, more so than Alex discovering who his birth parents are and everything like that. And I like that. It is a breath of fresh air to see that, since everything is always centered around younger generational people and stuff like that. So I give you major kudos for that. So that's awesome. And and that's all. I'm gonna stop talking now because I feel like I dominated. I'm sorry. All right.
Thank you. No,
Odysseus, I want to know what your backstory was.
Oh, you're muted, Odysseus. Get unmute. Unmute.
Of course I am. Of course, it's the story of my life today. So the backstory that I created was Samantha was was having a tough time at work, in her new position and everything like that, and me being, yes, I'm a go-getter person, but I'm also a human being as well. So I offered hey, let's just go to this, to this place and just have a drink and just talk as friends. And I made it clear to her that it was just as friends. And since she was new at this position, because she was new to this, just moved to the city, so she took it as me making an advancement towards her and everything like that. And since I am devilishly handsome and good looking and charming,
and modest.
Yes, and extremely modest in every way possible. She thought that it was a date, even though I clearly stated that, hey, let's just go out just as friends for drinks, type of situation. So that was the backstory that I kind of created. So when she went through all of that, I was like, no, it wasn't. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Who paid the check?
We split.
We
We split.
check,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
There you
Exactly.
go. That's the
And
Platon.
I think also something that Mike could use a little, and this could be just a line or a couple of words also, a little specificity is kind of like the timeline, like how long has it been since they had this encounter and she got this idea in her mind? Has this been several months? Has this been a year? Because I think that can also play into it, because if it's a longer period of time, well, then the question becomes, why does someone hang on to something like that for long instead of just getting it and going like, oh, okay, no, I was wrong, and moving on, right? So maybe there's something somewhere in there in Samantha's development somehow that could give us a little more of an idea, or a little flesh that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
In fact, that this may be even an opportunity to flesh out Samantha's character in general just a little bit more, so we have a little bit idea, because she comes in and she's like, bam, she's like, immediately we hate her. She's just like in our face. She's just da-da-da and all that, right? But usually when people are like that, there's stuff going on behind that nobody can see, because everybody's just like, oh my God, they're just so annoying and so terrible and what have you, right? So maybe there's something there for you to look at with that. Greta, let's hear from Greta on the question here. Did you have any trouble with any of the dialogue, and did any of it feel unnatural to you?
Unmute, Greta.
Yep, you're muted, Greta. Unmute yourself.
There.
Okay.
It's pushing the wrong button at the wrong place. Sorry.
No worries.
I am a genuine gray-haired person, okay? So things don't always work the way I need them to. But no, I thought that the dialogue for Phoebe's character, I thought was totally spot on. Okay, me being a natural Southern girl, born and raised in South Georgia, in a very small town. I've never been to Yazoo, but I'm assuming that Yazoo is pretty close to where I grew up, that the clientele and all of that. But I thought the dialogue for Phoebe was, as I said, very spot on. I had no problems with the dialogue at all. It sounded very naturally Southern, like a Southern woman would speak. I especially enjoyed the play on the mispronunciation of words. Okay, one of my favorite things was when they're having the discussion about the telling the truth for Joe. Phoebe comes back and says, yes, you should always tell the truth, because the truth will become a treat. Okay, and it took me a minute to get that joke, but the truth will set us free, says him at the end. Exactly, that's it. But I enjoyed playing that role quite a bit. One of my favorite scenes was when Joe was trying to change the subject after everybody realized that she and Harley may have been the two, and she's trying to change the subject, offering to buy folk everything from the Dairy Queen instead of talking about what she's talking about at the moment. I enjoyed that totally.
Yeah.
Excellent. Odysseus, thank you for Odysseus has to get out for an appointment, but thank you very much, Odysseus. He says thanks to Jean and Byron for having me be a part of this. It was an honor to work on this. We had a comment from Tracy Noble about the dialogue, since we're talking about dialogue at the moment. Because the dialogue is fast-paced and every character has something vital to contribute to every interaction, it requires the audience to lean in and actively listen so they don't miss a single zinger. As a member of the audience, I'm definitely in the zone to catch every funny bit. That's true. You do have to pay attention. Absolutely. Because especially if you're not used to Southern accents, right? And things like that, stuff could go by folks. So that's a good comment there. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Let's see.
Dr. Janice Lydell texted me a few minutes ago, who's one of our other playwrights we featured. She says, watch Yazoo, Mississippi, but couldn't stay for the talk back. It was she said, enjoyed the play immensely, lots of humor. My only criticism is it's a bit long, can do with some cutting, but lovely piece. And so you from your audience, Jean, for other playwrights commenting and really enjoying the piece, because we, as a writer, knowing that without a laugh track and a live audience, trying to create the humor is as challenging for me as a director, to make sure that the audience gets a moment to enjoy the guffaws, the actors mugging the camera somewhat because they can't do but so much. But if you notice, each one of these actors brought a piece of their capacity to make not only us laugh, but make themselves laugh with their work within the box. The Zoom box affords an opportunity to do some really wonderful acting. And that's what it takes, literally, to have a good cast to make this kind of work really be appreciated by an audience. So my salute to each and every one of you as being a part of this as talent. It was fun to work with. And I hope with your contributions, ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the reasons why we do this, is so that we can take this from the page to the stage. And one more thing, for those who are still on, let us know where you're from. Where do you live? Because if you want to see this play come to your city, this is how we can help you get it there. Because I know that there's some folks out there that came all the way from Detroit, some from the West Coast, East Coast, but we're trying to move this from the page to the stage. So make that donation, ladies and gentlemen, to the fsww.org. We're raising $50,000. This is how we do this. And thank you for letting us entertain you.
Thank you, Byron. We've got someone, I think, who's raised their hand. I think Alicia wants to get on the microphone. Is that right?
Yes,
that's
go ahead,
right,
Alicia.
Garland. Thank you both very much. When you said to explain earlier, I kept looking at the bottom of my screen. I says, I can't unmute, so I didn't know how to explain. But yeah, thank you for telling me to raise my hand. So yeah, basically, I just liked that. I thought it was really cute and adorable towards the end of the second act when her long lost love comes back to town. Of course, it's always sad that the thing that brings you back is the death of your brother. But what I thought was so sweet about it is that, with him running over so quickly because he, thought she was in danger, and then she saw his tattoo. And had there not been a tattoo, this mark of their long lost love, I probably would not have believed him. I probably would have thought he was just trying to get out of being named the father. And then there was, of course, wanting to get his girl back, which was the joke that I made earlier. But I like that those little breadcrumbs were put in there to help us believe his love for her, even all these many years later. And the fact that they were actually able to find love again. And I also agree with, I think his name was Odysseus, I believe, that said, it's nice to see something where the love is between mature characters, and it's not always just, the younger generation that are getting the nice love story. So yeah, that was very, really pleasant. Thank you.
Right on. Thank you, Alicia. Yeah, I think personally, that's a huge untapped market out there. I mean, Hollywood, major mainstream culture, et cetera, tends to focus so much on young people, on youth, and people in their 20s, right, and 30s. But there's a huge amount, and growing all the time, hence people's freaking out about Social Security, what's going to happen, and all this sort of stuff. A huge segment of the population that is growing that are becoming elderly, older folks, all of us, right? All of us. And so there is a huge market there. So, I think absolutely, I agree with having stories like this that are really wonderful, and it's really neat too how the long lost love comes, and the whole how you use the twins, right, and how we find out that no, it actually was. It actually was Harley, right, and not Henry. But it was interesting because you had us going on Henry there for a while, right, and then you flipped the script on us again. So that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun right there. And that tattoo, absolutely, there's a perfect example, a wonderful way to really show something that has a lot of emotional depth, right? To be carrying this tattoo, wearing this tattoo for all these years, his entire life. He could have removed it 20 years ago, probably gone to laser surgery or whatever, right? Said, oh, well, that's over. I'm done with that. But no. So that's a wonderful ways like that that we can both tell and show and tell, if you will, right, are really great. So that's a good strong one right there for you, Jean. Good, strong choice. One last question for the actors, and we've got a couple of audience questions that we'd like to get in before we finish up here. Did the dialogue feel appropriate for what you know about your character? Did it represent their intentions? Anyone like to jump in on that? Adrienne, would you like to share your thoughts on that one?
I absolutely felt yes. The dialogue was very appropriate. The only piece that I was going to raise my hand and ask, at the end of, I think it's, the second scene or something like that, and going into the third, that's kind of Joe's kind of first attack. And I felt like she had stronger, we felt on the first one, it was just kind of like, yeah, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Think about it. And then they're talking all about how she assaulted him. And I just wondered why it didn't build up as much for more of an attack, so that we could see that she was really, really angry. So that was the only piece that I was like, I would have liked to really attack him, not really attack him, but just have him sense my anger even more, to where he felt threatened, I guess. But everything, I think with Joe's character, when it was meant for her to be soft and more sensitive, it was very well written that way. It was easy to kind of play into those moments of, particularly with Alex and Phoebe and this, that, and the other. So yes, that was my only.
Right on to that. It's interesting because Joe's anger, there's an interesting thing going on there, because, we see she's very angry, and we think by what she tells us, it's all about the environment. It's all about this chemical plant coming in and destroying, right, beautiful Yazoo and all of that. But I think, and Jean, I don't know, I think maybe you meant this, but it seems like the anger maybe tracks back all the way to that incident between her and Harley, and then having to deal with that afterwards, and then having to deal with it as a young woman on her own. Fortunately, she got some help, right? But that's gotta, so that's an interesting thing. I don't know if that's something that you meant to do there, Jean, but that's an interesting little thing that maybe could be explored a little bit. So we come to see, and then this whole happenstance of the DNA testing and all this coming out, the truth coming out. It's like the truth does set you free.
Yeah, and Joe is really a protector. She's a protector of her secrets. She's a protector of Yazoo. She's a protector of Phoebe. She protects the things that are important and dear to her, especially her secrets. So when Alex comes in, he comes in as a big threat to all the things, not just the environment, but just her micro environment. And so, yeah, that's a good note. So I appreciate it.
Wonderful.
And she protects, she also protects Harley to the point that it's like, nobody's going to hurt this man, even his wife, with his relationship with his wife. She is still there for him. And they almost like this relationship between them is almost like an elder couple that's been working with each other for a long, long time. So you're right. She is the holder of the city secrets.
Yeah. To that point, I was curious, Jean, why just a little small thing of, Alex being able to take him and being the choice of, oh, he's my father. And as Joe, I'm thinking, boy, I will break your arm. Like, you will not touch my Harley. And so I was like, how does she let him take him? But just kind of those things of
Right on. Amanda says in the chat, the actors were really wonderful. I can tell they were able to embrace their characters and had fun with it. You were all uniquely lovable. Also, I wouldn't change a minute of this script. It will go so much quicker after a month of rehearsals. And that is a very good point. That is a very good point, because here, we're going through a reading and mind you, there's only been, these actors only had basically two rehearsals along with some tech time. So not a whole lot of time to really develop it, but considering that amount of time, what these actors did pull out, what y'all did, was wonderful. You gave us a really great rendition of these characters. Joan Green says, appreciated all of the talent. Nice work all. Jon Hayden, this is to you. Interesting watching you tackle the two characters. The mustache really worked. Somehow you appeared younger than Harley. Comment from Byron. You're the best. You're a most insightful director. Why does this play remind me of Captain Ciampi in Ossie Davis's play Pearly Victorious? That's very interesting. Good question. Terrific moderator. Thank you to me. Thank you very much. And such a nice comment. She says, Joan says, loved my dad, meeting and working with him. And thank you. I am the keeper of the flame. Yes, thank you for saying that we're grateful. I appreciate that. We're going to keep this up. And also for Jean, says, keep up the good work to our playwright, Jean Chiampi. Great work, everyone. Before we get into, we've got, the poll is still out there. I think we're just about to close the poll. Oh, it is. The poll is closed. Okay. So we'll get to that in just a moment here, but let's ask, we've got some audience questions. So let's see if we can get through at least a couple of these before we wrap up here. One question Jean had for you audience members is, could you envision this working as a staged production, as a fully mounted staged production? Can you see this working? And anybody jump in, that actors you can jump in too, but certainly we'd love to hear from our audience. Put it in the chat room or raise your hand and let's bring you up on the microphone to hear what you have to say. I'm seeing some thumbs up. I'm seeing thumbs up emojis happening, so that's good.
It's also in the poll, Garland. I can read some of the responses.
Okay.
Let's see. The first one says, of course, with stage settings and explosion. Yes. I can definitely see this as a stage production. I would love to see how the town is preparing for their festival.
Okay. And all right. So any actors? I saw a lot of nodding heads in the actors. Any of y'all want to say anything? John's got his hand up. John, let's hear from you.
Yeah, we talked about the characters and how they develop and all that. And Byron and I had a conversation after a couple of rehearsals, and we determined that Phoebe, Greta, and I really were the spine, the Romeo and Juliet that didn't drink the poison, didn't kill each other. We had obstacles, but we came through. And for Henry's part, many years in the dark. He ran away from the problem, but he had to come back for the funeral. And at that point, he saw the folly and error of his ways and made amends. And they're going to build a beautiful life as senior adults in Yazoo, Mississippi. And that's a beautiful ending. And you're talking about senior actors, you're talking about senior folks. They're a great fiscal part of any theater going community. They're the ones that are the top subscribers, top donors. So if we're going to produce it, is it producible as a theatrical play? Hell yes, it is. And we can take it right to Yazoo, Mississippi, if they have a theater over there, Gene. And that's where we should have the world premiere, because, appeal to the things that won't fly, but this show will fly. So
excellent. All right. We'll get to Adrienne in just a second here. Amanda says this script is suitable for stage and film. So there you go. So you have that. And that's, I don't know if you've thought about film, but yeah, there's some good possibilities here. Adrienne, get your hand up.
Just from an acting standpoint, I think it's absolutely suitable for both as well. I would say consider, Jean, I've done a lot of quick scene changes, but going from scene 1 to scene 2, and I was thinking how I was going to wear my lovely Newt Yazula suit. But coming off stage and coming right back on, even if I pile something on, you would have to spend some time with that change, with filling it with something, a filler, because it's just literally she walks off and walks on. So just think of, thinking about the transition.
Yeah, that's very important, especially when you're talking about dealing with things like something like the newt suit. That's a very important thing that, we don't realize how important it's actually going to be, right? But it is important. So from an actual physical standpoint of doing that, depending how complicated that suit is, time needs to be allotted for some kind of change there to happen. That was one thing, since Shakespeare's come up, that was one thing I've always loved about Shakespeare, is that Shakespeare gave the actors chances to do that. He didn't force you to do outrageous changes. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing here, Jean, but I'm saying he didn't force actors to do outrageous changes like 2 seconds after they just came off and they were just in Rome as a spy, and now the next scene they're in the court in King's Court in England, and now they're a completely different character and what have you. So those are definitely practical considerations that writers do need to consider when they're putting these things together. What am I asking people to do here, right? What am I asking the actors to do? Is this physically possible? And
Right.
anything, of course, just about anything is, but it's something that has to be given thought to in the process of creation. Okay, so that's good. What else do we have in the poll here? Our next question. Oh, well, okay, so the audience questions are in the poll. So, Kim, you want to read us answers on our next question?
Which is, do you feel the character Emily works?
Yes.
Let's see. Yes. Someone says, do not have strong feelings about this. I don't think I would miss her brief appearance. I do appreciate the hint of hope for Alex.
Mhm.
Someone else says, could be expanded a little. And another person says, Emily seems to come out of nowhere. I'm not sure how she's connected, I guess, because she comes in at the end.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Actually, Emily does seem to, at this point, it does feel a little bit like she's coming out of nowhere. So there has to be a little bit more meat on the bones there. And so we're looking at also a second set of twins, right? Because Emily, is that correct? Am I correct in that? Jean, Emily is a twin, is Samantha's twin, or she is someone
she's just
completely different?
The intent is that you can see that there's a similarity, but that they should be very different characters.
Mm-hmm. But are they actually related? This is not another twin situation. No, this isn't. Okay. So, introducing another character that hasn't really been seen like that so late in the show can be very tricky. And there has to be a real good reason for it, right? Like why we wouldn't have heard from them earlier, even if it's just we see them briefly or we hear about them referred to or they pop their head in a phone call, something, to introduce a completely brand new character at the very end, it can leave us with questions.
Well, we got money from CNBC. It was skewed for our donor program, so.
Okay.
I just thought it might be nice for Emily to report on the assault that happened earlier, to kind of connect that a little bit more if it's that big,
Yeah.
Okay. Good point.
Yeah, that's an opportunity. Yeah, we just need to have a little more something. I mean, it doesn't have to be another lead, right, character per se in that sense, but we need some more meat on those bones, I think.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Well, that's why that question was there, because I kind of had a sense that about her. So, but maybe she can report on the Yazoo, the festival on Nuda Yazula, and that would give Joe time to make a change.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So yeah, you could use her to report on these incidents because there's a lot of things going on. You start off with the big festival there's the whole plant being built story, right? That's going on there. They've just sent, company would definitely be making hay of the fact that they are sending a representative down there to meet with the community, right? So there's going to be a PR push there, right? So you have opportunities maybe to drop her in. And again, they don't have to be huge.
Right.
Right. But that also means you have to be clear who she is. Is she local to Yazoo? Right? Is she a local journalist, a local news person and what is her beat if that's the case? What is this kind of a general because it's a small town? Maybe it's a small operation, so she covers everything, or is she specifically hitting on certain things? So there's something for you to play with there. Okay, something to think about. Let's see. Our next question for the audience, Kim.
The next question is, does the ending lose the pace? Someone said, I love the way it ended. Jermaine said she's undecided. And no, the ending was more like real life. And then the ending lost the pace slightly when a new character was introduced as another person.
Okay. So once again, the issue of introducing a completely new character at the end there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So that hits on that. And then we've got 2 more questions for the audience. Are Henry and Harley different enough? What do our answers say, Kim?
Okay, all right. Because one person says, I guess. Another person says, given the excellence of casting, I can see how these two were different people despite being identical twins. And Jermaine says, in her opinion, yes. And then lastly, there can be more fleshing out of the characters between Harley and Henry, says another person.
Again, so there's a desire there to know more about the 2 brothers, right? And the twins, to know a little bit. Now that's also an interesting question, because how much do we need to know about them? We found out, you're definitely telling us a lot about them. So we found out about them. But so that might be something to look at. Again, specificity really comes into play a lot. It's not necessarily the amount of stuff, but how specific things are. Right.
And it might be too, when it's actually staged, just mannerisms and costuming and things like that may amplify the differences that you wouldn't see necessarily in this format.
Yeah, absolutely. That is very true. Creative team could absolutely take that on, but it still has to be in the writing though. Okay, there still has to be enough for the actors in there to know, so that we do see that we're dealing with 2 different characters. Unless of course, it's a situation where they're identical twins and they're identical in every way, even though they necessarily haven't spent their entire lives together, because there have been situations where you have that where twins they've been raised in separate situations, but they like the same music, they like the same foods, they have certain mannerisms maybe. So that's something for you to play with there too. Okay. And last question, any other feedback?
Yes, there is. One person says, I like that the twins still had Phoebe's name on his back after all these years. That made his story more believable. And let's see, Jermaine says, might benefit from a light tightening up, shortening the play by 5 minutes or so, question mark. And then lastly, overall, the play is well structured. The comedic moments were well written, and the conflict between characters made it suspenseful. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in the survey and all your comments and the Q&A and the chat. I know Jean will take this information, and that will help her with her rewriting.
One little thing also I wanted to throw out there too is earlier in the piece there was the whole business about Joe assaulting, I guess it was Alex, right? Joe assaulting Alex, right? And the possible charges, assault charges, and all of that. And then we flip into Alex's 23andMe DNA test and getting this report about, right, that then takes us off on a whole other thing. That I felt it was kind of interesting, because it felt like we kind of dropped the assault thing pretty fast, pretty quickly, and then just dove right into Alex's story there, and which is a personal story too. So, and it came in the middle of dealing with basically what is business. right? Business here, the corporation, legal, possible assault, charges and this kind of thing. And then so I felt like there needs to be a little more something with the transition there. It just needs to be smoothed out a little bit more so that we don't feel like we're just dropping this, because then we don't ever hear about that again. We never hear about the assault. We never hear, I mean, things kind of take off. So maybe we can assume that, well, things are sort of taken off. And so that kind of got left behind, and then Samantha getting fired and all of that. But I'd say that might be something for you to take a look at right there, the transition from the one subject to the other. Okay. Byron.
Yes. When Henry comes back in first time, it might be something, just a one-line recognition, Gene, where and John actually said it in a response earlier. When my brother died, I had to come back for the funeral. And it's a moment where he's acknowledging why he's back. And then his saying that, because it's a surprise when he walks in and sneaks in behind everybody, and it's just that one recognition. Oh my, Henry is here. Mm-hmm. And he would then say, when my brother died, I had to come back. And that's a moment that's what really Joe recognizing, or rather Phoebe recognizing that surprise moment, because that's the last person she would have expected to see, having been her sister's confidant. All of that one little shock moment flipped this story. And it's not a whole lot to be said other than I had to come back from my brother's funeral. Mm-hmm. And then that starts another line going down. Well, what was happening when Joe then says, I got to tell what I know. Mm-hmm. And she's starting to reluctantly trying to give the story, because you're right, she was deflecting the DQ stuff. Well, with we got to get off this subject. This subject is going to reveal me, and I don't want this to be revealed right now. So what do you want, a double burger or whatever, But that having Henry say that might be just a fix of that one little moment. And it's not a big line, but it becomes a big line when you realize that he has come back and is now, as the rest of, and now for the rest of the story, as has been used to be one of the commentators' best line, and now the rest of the story. But it's just a little thought line, because you don't really have to burden it with too much backstory, but it is a bigger question. Just something.
Yeah, absolutely. It again, it's not necessarily amount of quantity, but quality and specificity, I think.
And I do like the idea as a director, and I just realized that commentary about the Emily's character. What if she's heard but not seen, as is, because remember they were saying when the incident happened where the mud wrestling was taking effect, it's like, who was that giving that story on TV? Mm-hmm. Well, that would have been Emily. And then Emily's, because he said, well, let's hope it's not in the newspaper. But by the time he gets through with that line, it's already, Alex is saying, the corporate headquarters has already seen the story. So it was on a news feed, mm-hmm. which would introduce Emily at that point, whether you want to bring her in as visual or something that's overheard on it was watching TV, and they were watching CNBC, and it was like Emily's character who was doing the lead story. Mm-hmm. Just a thought.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's some opportunities there. Adrienne put in the chat, it might be great if we see Emily report about the assault that happened early on.
Yeah.
That's a possible opportunity there. Also, Amanda says, I think Emily presenting as a love interest was a symbol of Alex's permanently settling in Yazoo.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting interpretation there.
Yeah.
And Jermaine says, thank you, Jermaine. Jermaine says, all the best to Jean as she takes the play forward. Applause to Byron, the cast, and thank you to myself and Kimberly. Thank you, Jermaine, for being here. I think let's any final comments anybody would like to add, actors, audience members, anything, any final comments we have for this playwright as we send her off back to her lab to consider everything that she's heard, and I know for a fact that Jean's going to be doing a lot of work on this. So and Jean, of course, as with all of our playwrights, if you have a script that you've done certainly a good amount of rewrites and what have you, and we want to take a look at it again, we have an opportunity to do that with you again. Okay. So, and we'll be in touch with, we'll be in touch with that. You keep us up on what's going on there.
Excellent. I can't think of a better way to close out March 2025. Thank you all for being a part of this. Thanks for having me as well. Garland, great work.
Thank you, John. Thank you. And thank you for your great work. You always come through. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any final words from you? This is your first time with us. A big heart.
Way to go, Amy.
Cool. Amy, we're going to look for ways to bring you back and help with us. And of course, if you know of anybody who could, that we should work with, or any playwrights, send them our way. Absolutely. Adrienne, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to see you. Adrienne, wonderful job as always. And Greta, my God, so glad to have you back too. Your Southern Belle was right on point.
My Phoebe.
That's right, your Phoebe, Henry's Phoebe, and it was, and I will say too, it was a real joy to find out that it wasn't Henry that Joe had slept with, right? That it was Harley, and so Henry had stayed true,
Yes.
and he had stayed true to her through all these years, even though they'd been apart, and he didn't know if he was ever going to see her again, right? So I think that's a really lovely thing for people to see.
But we had to still let Harley off the hook that he wasn't just being a jerk.
Yes. Right. No, and that's good too. Yeah, that's good too. So it wasn't, and that's great, because oftentimes, situations can be seen like this, and without delving into it, people can think, oh yeah, they're jerks, they're stupid, they're bad people, and what have you, without knowing what's going on behind it, what motivated that, and that is what we're here to do with theater. That's what theater is here to do, is to illuminate, tell us why, what motivated that. I always say to people, theater is about the why, which is ultimately, what is the why about? It's about the truth, right? So the truth behind why people do what they do. The more we understand that about what other people are doing, the more we understand that about ourselves and what we're doing. Right. So this is an exploration of the truth. So so that was really a lovely thing there, Jean. I'm really happy you went that way with it, and that, and that we got to see behind the scenes, if you will, as to what was motivating these people. So
and Theophania, wonderful. I love you as my narrator. This is the second time we've worked together.
T. Thank you, T.
Thank you.
T, did you have any final things you wanted to add? Any final comments or anything before we go, T? We heard your voice, your lovely voice.
No. I listen. I just hope I didn't laugh too hard, because I was over here crying in tears, but I had a blast. And I just wanted to say thank you again for the invite, to be thought of. It was wonderful to be invited back. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. That's all. And Miss Jean, I am a huge fan, because I learned some new terminology. I'm Southern, but not that Southern, because I was raised in the city. So I learned some new terminology. But it was a wonderful opportunity, again. And so I'm grateful. And, my girl, me and Adrienne, anytime we get to play, it's wonderful. Mr. Byron, I love it. Kimberly, Garland, I love it. So again, thank you, John. I'm grateful, just to be with the team again. So that's all it was. I just hope, you guys are happy with my contribution. So that's all I can say. So thank you again.
I want to say this about T. She's also an opera singer. Okay. Of course. Well, yeah, you wouldn't think it, but she's an opera singer. Okay.
I hope I get a
Very
chance to
good.
experience that sometime, T. Thank you, T, for your contribution, for being there. Great narration. Your voice
Thank
was
you.
there with us every
Thank
step
you.
of the way. So thank you very much for that. And thank you to everyone here. Thank you to everyone who tuned in today, who spent some time with us on a Saturday afternoon if you're on the West Coast, or a Saturday evening if you're on the East Coast, or wherever you are in the country of the world. We want to thank you for tuning
It's
in
Sunday.
here. We do this
It's
every
Sunday.
month.
It's Sunday.
Yes.
Sun-
You said Saturday afternoon.
Did I
Aren't we
say
a day
Saturday?
late in the
Oh,
dollar
Yes.
store? Oh my
I'm in,
God.
sorry, I'm in rehearsal for a show that opens next week. And so my
Ah,
brain,
there you go.
I just did 3 days of like 10-hour tech days and what have you. So if my brain's a little loopy, I apologize for that. But
It's
Sunday,
okay.
stay tuned. We'll be announcing our next month's play very soon. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't signed up for our mailing list, please do. You can do that at thefsww.org, as well as make a donation there as well. If you support what we're doing and want to help help us continue to help playwrights like Jean and others develop these stories. We need these stories. These stories are very, very important. We need these stories, and stories that also can take us out of what seems to be like the horridness of the world going on when you turn on the news. We need stuff that can remind us that we're humans, that we're all humans, and we're all trying to do the best we can. And we need good laughs. We need laughs, absolutely. So anybody who's trying to get us to laugh more is A-okay in my book, and I think deserves all the support in the world. So Jean, looking at you there. Thank you. And actors, looking at y'all for taking on this job and really providing us with some wonderful characterizations. So thank you all. Thank you to our audience so much. The video recording of this will be up within the next week. So if y'all want to go back and watch it on our YouTube channel, you can do that. Once again, of course, we've got to check out our online classes, FSWW Online. Again, go to our website. You'll be able to find out about that. Help us raise $50,000. If you can spare 10 or 20 bucks or $5 or whatever, it all helps. It all helps. And we'll be coming back to you with more stuff going on. So thank you all very much, and you all have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and afternoon. And thank you, Kimberly. A big shout out to Kimberly Gunn, our reading producer, our tech director who handled all this. She put together the opening film that we saw and helped create the graphics. So thank you, Kimberly. We couldn't be doing this. We couldn't do this as well as we are without you. So thank you so much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wish you all a good night and a good afternoon. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
And Jean and Byron, if you want to hang on for a minute after everybody, we'll chat for just a moment.
Jean,
Join
can
us
I just
next
ask
time
you?
for our first opera.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Greta. Thank you, Amy. And thanks to Odysseus, of course. And thank you, T. And thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you again. Goodbye, all.
Jean,
Goodbye.
can I
Thank
just ask
you.
you really quick? Was that the song? Was that what you were looking for that character? I was so curious.
Yes. I mean, that was great.
Okay.
It's funny because you know, on the different when I've had this like workshopped, it's fun to see how the actor what the actor brings to it.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I loved your version of it.
Okay, thanks, Jean.
Excellent. And it was great bookending it the way you did the
Yeah.
play with that. That
Yeah.
is a lovely way to open and a lovely thing to go out on. So
Very
very nice. And Adrienne, yes, you did a fantastic job. It was
Thank
you have a beautiful voice, and getting to hear you share it with us was just a blast. So thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Thanks.
So now I can promote it as a musical.
Yeah. There you
Out
go.
to Mississippi,
Oh,
the
bluesy in
musical.
there.
Hey,
Yeah.
why not? What? And
Yes.
actually, we joke, we might be kidding, but no, actually, there's real potential here. Yazoo, Mississippi, the musical.
Yes, make it real bluesy, real bluesy.
Well, you know, that was what they did with Waitress. It was a book, and when you see the musical, how clever it really is. Presentation is cleverly done with music, and it's always in motion. There's only one blackout, and that's the intermission. I mean, if you get a chance, it's been on HBO over the last couple of months, but Waitress the musical.
He can make it an opera.
Right.
Exactly.
Opera.
I will not be singing that one. So.
Well, Gene, we'll see what you're hearing with these ideas coming up. This is a great story, and this can be told in different mediums. It can translate, so which is exactly what we want from our stories, right?
Good night, you guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night.